birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Charlize Theron. Happy birthday to you. Now, I don't mean to upstage Marilyn like that because I know that's kind of her thing.
That was really good.
But I think I really pulled that off. Because obviously everybody knows it's a national holiday. That today is Charlize Theron's birthday. She is 46 years young.
Mm-hmm.
And here's to, 4,600 more.
Yeah. Good for Charlize Theron.
Good for Charlize Theron. She's just always struck me as a very talented and buxom lady.
Very happy for you.
Thank you. I thought about her today, actually, while I was in the shower. Yeah. But I mean, I just kind of lose myself. I just think about everything. My mind kind of wanders, which, I mean, it happens. I mean, it's a day-to-day basis that my mind just kind of wanders in the shower. I think it's a day-to-day thing for everybody, I would say.
Right. Showering.
Well, yeah, I meant
To stay clean.
Well, I meant just letting your mind wander to like many places in the shower, not literally showering, because that's not. I mean, of course, everybody showers.
Right. Everybody definitely showers.
Okay, sweet.
Especially Jake Gyllenhaal. He showers all the time.
Okay, cool. I don't know why you need to say that so specifically.
You didn't hear?
No, I didn't hear that he showered because I don't think that's a weird thing to report on, I think.
Well, Jake Gyllenhaal, he was like, listen, guys, I shower every single hour.
Oh, wow.
1 hour on set, 1 hour in the shower.
Okay.
1 hour on set, 1 hour in the shower.
That's pretty good.
That's what he said.
Now, okay, but what about that? If it's a shower scene on set, what is his stance on that? If he's doing a shower scene in the film, does he still need to take a break?
No, because that's not a real shower. That's
okay,
a fake
so
shower.
you need to take a shower. Okay, what if he's method acting though? Is it still like
No, it's. Still,
I think we'd have to get the man
he's
in
breaking
here.
character. Yeah, we'll have to get him in here for the next episode or something.
Yeah,
Get his real input. But no, actually,
no.
Jake Gyllenhaal, he doesn't shower.
Wait, doesn't shower like ever?
He doesn't shower often.
Often.
From sources.
So you would smell him before you see him. Is that the type of situation we're in?
That's
like
what
where
it
you're
seems
sitting in a
like.
room and you're like, Jake Gyllenhaal is near.
Yes.
It's like, oh, we gotta stop talking about him.
Yes.
Because you can. I mean, that's a pretty good defense mechanism if you don't want to catch some bad news or people back talking you. So you just make your presence known.
Yeah.
Works.
So I don't know, but somehow he was doing like an interview, and I guess somehow the interviewer asked a question about showers, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't really understand the whole point of like showering all the time."
Okay.
And then everyone was just like,
well, I mean, he's just one guy, so like, what difference does it make?
But this is when it gets spicy.
okay.
It's not
like
just,
Jake Gyllenhaal.
It's not just one guy. There's a whole collection of celebrities that like don't like showering or don't shower.
Okay, give me some.
Listen to this.
Who do we got?
Brad Pitt. All it takes is a couple quick wipes.
Wait, wipes? What does that mean?
He shared that when you're sweating and you don't have time to take a shower, I don't really know if Brad Pitt doesn't showers, but he says you just take a baby wipe and rub it under your armpits.
Well, sure. Yeah. I mean,
He
okay.
says he doesn't have time to take a shower.
I
He's got 6 kids.
I hope
he
that's
gets
not
peed
true.
on all day.
Okay. Is that related to the kids or is that a separate thing?
Who knows?
Okay.
But Robert Pattinson allegedly completely reeks.
Okay, I don't like to judge a book by its cover, but not surprised if it's true. Looks like a stinky man.
You could kind of tell. I'm not gonna lie.
tell he looks a little.
Somebody said, some anonymous person that was on set with him during the Twilight New Moon movie said he stinks. I mean, it's awful. He never showers and it drives people on the set crazy.
Man, these are a lot of eccentric types.
Shia LaBeouf, he showers,
Good.
but one time. Have you seen the movie Fury? The tank movie?
No, I actually haven't.
It's pretty good. But anyway, Shia LaBeouf's in that movie. And apparently during the whole filming of that movie, he never showered one time.
Okay.
Because he wanted to understand what it would be like to be in the trenches.
Well, that's a little gross.
Yeah. But you know what? More power to him. Great performance.
Yeah, if it gets him into the acting headspace, I guess it's not that big of a deal.
Zac Efron is
Oh.
not a big fan of showering.
It's a funny way of wording it. It was his words. Not a big fan. Not really feeling it.
Zach isn't a big fan of showering. It's so gross because Zach loves to work out and plays basketball all the time and then goes days without showering.
What the?
When he gets lazy, he likes to clean himself with baby wipes, just like Brad Pitt.
Hey, they got something in common. I mean, the baby wipe thing, like, if you're in a long car ride or something, you know, that's acceptable, I think. You know, if you're going on a long road trip, the baby wipe thing makes sense. But, like, if you have a shower, I don't get the whole baby wipe thing if you can just walk in a shower.
Interesting.
So I don't know about that.
Apparently, Britney Spears, too, for a while at least,
Okay.
did not bathe, did not use deodorant, did not brush her teeth.
Well, she wasn't allowed to do a
Did
lot
not
of
fix her hair.
things. So, like, she wasn't even allowed to have an iPad until last week, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and say that maybe it wasn't her fault.
You know whose fault this is, though?
What's up?
This is a big one. You were just celebrating this woman.
Mm-hmm.
Charlize Theron can go a week without lathering up. You're sniffing hard.
Salivating. A week without lathering up. Does she use baby wipes?
She says, I'm a tough girl and I cannot shower for a week. I'm fine with that.
Well, okay, well, she seems like she's doing it like, yes, I can. Not like, I do it and I'm proud. She's like, it wouldn't bother me. It's a little bit different.
That's true. But still, it's probably happened.
It's probably happening. She's probably wearing boots.
You would be first in line to sniff those boots. Russell Crowe allegedly made his co-star gag.
Okay, wait. How many more do we have?
We're not even halfway.
Okay, let's speed round.
Jessica Simpson, Johnny Depp. I don't know who that is.
Hold on. Go back to the top.
To the top?
Yeah, let's go back to the top. Who's the first one that we had?
It was Brad Pitt.
We had Brad Pitt. What do you think Brad Pitt smells like?
I'm assuming they all just smell like BO.
Okay. Well, I was going to try to do a fun thing where we made funny smells that they smelled like, but we can just say they all smell like BO instead.
Oh, well, I don't know. I don't know what Brad Pitt smells like.
I think he would smell like probably like a Swiss cheese, and there'd be like a sort of sweetness to it. You know, he'd have a
I thought you wanted to do a speed round.
Yeah, just going through. So he's a Swiss cheese. You know what? Forget it. I thought I was going to do something fun, but Nick hates fun.
I wouldn't be good at this. You can do it.
Robert Pattinson, he's definitely like an onion and like raw cabbage kind of smell. You know what I mean? It's like earthy.
What about
gross.
Shia LaBeouf?
Well, Shia LaBeouf was a one thing, but it's obviously really grimy. It's really dirt.
Zac Efron.
Zac Efron is probably like spoiled. Like
Charlize Theron.
All right, well, why should I even do it if I can't even finish?
You gotta-
Charlize Theron
it's
smells
speed
like
round.
chocolate and vanilla. I would
Russell
bet.
Crowe.
Dairy products,
Jessica
like gross
Simpson.
dairy products. I think she just always smells bad. It's not even her fault.
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp, like green beans and bacon, like old green beans and bacon in a stew.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Well,
It's pretty pungent.
she has a candle all about that, so we know what she smells like.
That's funny. Matthew McConaughey.
I don't care.
Julia Roberts.
Julie, like a horse, probably.
Jessica Simpson. Didn't I already
You
say
said
that?
Jessica Simpson already. Yeah.
Now we're just repeat. Megan Fox forgets to flush.
That's not related. Whatever. Does Ariana Grande shower? She showers her fans with love.
She definitely does.
She showers her
People
fans with love
got
all
a
the time.
whole bunch of that. This was like yesterday.
Oh, really?
I think it was.
You're gonna have to explain this because I am so out of the sphere with all this.
So yesterday, a monumental thing happened. There was Ariana Grande was in FORTNITE,
Ariana Grande, famed star of Sam and Cat,
right?
as Cat.
She was in Fortnite doing a
Fortnite,
concert.
same video game on the Nintendo Switch.
Yep. She did a concert in Fortnite just like Travis Scott did,
Okay.
except it was Ariana Grande.
Yeah, and they both are like bigger than normal people. Was a theme I noticed.
In the game,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, they're the star. Travis Scott
Okay.
was huge though.
I know, but
Ariana
when you
Grande
go to
just a little bigger.
when you go to a real concert, they're still their same size. Could you imagine going to a real life concert and they're just 20 feet tall?
that would be sick.
I mean, I guess, yeah. Big hologram.
Um,
I'm sure it's been done.
so if you had to choose,
Okay.
are you going to the Travis Scott or the Ariana Grande Fortnite concert?
If I had to choose, I mean, just from the little bit I've seen, probably the Ariana Grande concert, because at least you got experience at the end. I didn't see any experience popping off at Travis Scott. So
We didn't watch as much of the.
we didn't watch
Travi-
as much as
the
that.
Travi
But
Patty,
but
though.
this video we have here, can we just like scrub through what are the chapters that we have at the bottom?
So here we go. We have
It opens up
bunch
intro,
of-
event start.
snowboarding down Lush Hill,
Okay.
jumping around on Teddy's back,
That's always my favorite part of concerts.
on airplane fighting monster.
Great.
Okay, and then Ariana Grande makes her entrance.
That's like 5 minutes in. That's the good stuff.
Bubbles in the sky,
Oh, bubbles, showering, cleanliness,
riding rainbow llama through the clouds,
fun.
following Ariana Grande through a maze. Looks really
Oh my
cool.
gosh. Yeah.
And then the final song.
they ride out the final song to the end of the concert.
Yep, they were getting XP flying through the rainbow.
Well, that's good. You know, I've never been to a real concert or a Fortnite concert. I've been to a festival.
You've never been to a concert?
I've never been to a concert that was this person and this is the reason you're going to the show. I've been to a festival where it's like there's all these people performing.
Wow.
But I've never been like, oh, I want to go see this one artist and I want to see him. Because the only artist that I would ever feel that way for would be like Daft Punk. And the last time they had a concert, and they're dead now, was like when I was like 9. So that just wasn't in the cards for me.
Dang.
So there was just no one that I was just like, oh yeah, this person so much that I'm like, I'd want to like travel or
Yeah.
go see a concert. But I don't know, maybe someday.
Interesting. But would you travel to your Nintendo Switch to get the Ariana Grande concert experience in Fortnite?
Well, if I had known about it, maybe.
Okay. So
See, here's the thing. I think I have Fortnite, but I don't think I pay for the online. So maybe I wouldn't.
okay, well let's just say in a perfect world you have Fortnite and you have online capabilities.
Okay.
The next, well, I guess who would Epic Games need to bring into Fortnite for you to tune in for their live concert?
Daft Punk.
That's the only option?
Who else? And they have like a weird self version. Are there skins of them too?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
They
Well,
gotta
Daft
sell
Punk
it.
skins would be pretty cool. Just saying.
Would be.
Maybe, I don't know. Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash.
You don't want
in
to see a
Fortnite.
Johnny Cash skin?
Interesting. Okay, for you, that's cool. That would be cool. Now,
I just think it'd be
imagine-
cool seeing Johnny Cash shoot Kratos with a shotgun.
Put your
Conway Twitty
feet in the shoes
of Charlize Theron.
Epic Games of Charlize Theron's boots of
Okay.
Epic Games, like people up at the top
Sure.
that make these decisions.
Ted, I think is
Yeah.
his name.
Mm-hmm. You're thinking Ariana Grande concert, Travis Scott, huge. There were huge hits.
Success.
The kids loved it.
Okay.
Everyone loved it.
I did
What
notice they
do
had to
we-
censor all the songs.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's okay.
What do we do next to bring it to the next level?
See, I don't think it's even. I think they need to fix the experience. It's not necessarily the artist. It's they need to enhance the whole experience. So I think they should have it be a virtual waiting in line for 5 hours kind of thing at the beginning. You
Is
know,
that
there's
what
no
it is?
effects, but it's just everyone's kind of waiting. And if you get out of line, you know, everyone still has guns. They can shoot each other. You know, you just gotta like wait in line. You know.
Okay.
And then like maybe have like porta potties, virtual porta potties that like you can get inside and all the music is kind of
Yeah.
while you're inside of it, you know, and
So,
taking
like,
a shit.
okay.
You can take a virtual shit, pee, you know, you can take some Molly and just start rolling.
So it would be Childish Gambino.
Okay, maybe, perhaps.
right? Because of the meme.
The
red bone meme.
Oh my gosh, that is a blast from the past meme. I forgot
know,
that was
that's
a meme.
way back.
That's like 2016, 2017 or something.
Yeah.
That's back there. Sure.
That's if we had that as a thing.
Yeah, I mean, also I think taking drugs, I think they should definitely add.
Well, you got to remember, you're Epic Games here.
Yeah.
The kids, the target audience is kids aged like 6 to 16.
Kids want to take drugs. They want to do all the grown up. They want to have sex too. You need to have virtual sex. You need
In
to
the
have
game?
in the sex. You need to have them be able to take off their clothes, like the Barbie dolls and stuff. But they don't need to have nipples. They can just be, like Barbies and just be like that. But you can you just press a button. It kind of bangs the two models against each other. And you can do that. Also, I think you should have proximity voice chat. So when you're
That would
actually
be
next to people, you can hear them. I think that would really enhance the experience as well.
That would be incredible.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that they could do.
That sounds nice. I'm thinking,
Okay.
if I'm going to be serious about this,
Okay.
not that you weren't being serious.
Of course.
I'm thinking they would need to do Billie Eilish for the next one. I feel like that would be
fun.
that would be the play.
Yeah.
It would be bigger. She's huge right now. People love her.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be big Billie Eilish in FORTNITE. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Billie Eilish pretty. I don't know how much like Ariana Grande or Travis Scott got to like contribute to like the creative side of like what happens in their concert.
Yeah, I wonder if at all.
But if they do, Billie Eilish seems to be, at least from like her music videos and stuff, pretty like creative visually. So it could be an interesting gaming experience.
See, I think I'd prefer it if the objective was as a group to kill the pop star and you all had your guns and you had to take them down.
Kill
And
Billie Eilish.
You had to shoot Billie Eilish's like 800 foot tall form.
Interesting.
While she's singing Bad Guy, and you had to like throw your grenades and build your little towers and everything,
That
or
would be
whatever
fun.
you do in Fortnite. It's like, oh yeah, destroy her. And if you do it before she finishes the concert, you like get a prize. I don't know how it works.
Wow, that sounds
You
nice.
get a Billie Eilish skin.
Very
You
cool.
get the green hair. She doesn't have green hair anymore though.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't
Maybe.
know either. Maybe.
Cool. Anyway, the Ariana Grande concert, huge success.
I'll be real. I don't
Great
get
job
it.
for it.
I like, in all honesty, I'm not sure I really get it. Don't you get the same thing just from like watching the video?
No, because you're not there. You're not playing.
Maybe if it was VR, that'd be cool.
Ooh, that. All right, now
Yeah,
we're
VR,
talking.
that might be neat, a little bit
VR
neater
concert,
with
that
them
would be
actual teleporting everywhere. You might get sick, but
Yeah.
that'd just be something you have to. That's part of the concert experience. Getting sick, then you go to the porta potty in VR, and you can just blow chunks.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been in some live events, not the Fortnite ones, but in like Destiny and like Warzone.
Okay, they had an Ariana Grande concert in
No, they
Destiny.
didn't. They don't do like concerts. That would be hilarious.
It'd be amazing.
And I don't know. They're more fun, I guess, when you're like actually playing it because you feel like you're part of it or whatever.
Interesting. I guess I'd have to just try it out to see.
Or even just like watching it live because we were just watching like the YouTube clip
Yes.
after the fact.
Okay.
Or even if you were just like watching a streamer live.
I'll be honest. I never got the appeal of that, watching things live, which is a little ironic. But it honestly never really does much for me. Even if I am directly, like if it's a small streamer and I'm interacting with them, it doesn't do much for me. Usually I feel like people would say, if it's a big enough like stream or whatever,
Okay.
people are already saying the things that I would say anyway. Like take off your shirt and stuff like that.
Okay.
So it's never been the whole interaction thing has never been a selling point for me.
Okay. So for the next Fortnite concert, we're going to assume it's Billie Eilish.
Okay.
We will be live streaming the event
Okay.
right here on the Stagler, playing Fortnite on the Nintendo Switch.
Okay.
You know,
Providing live commentary.
yeah, we're going to be live commentating it, and we're going to be the bad guy.
Now the real question is, does Billie Eilish shower? Like definitely not, right? There's no way.
Doesn't seem like it. She's maybe like a once every 3 weeks kind of thing.
She looks like she could get pretty musky, you know. That's all I'm saying.
I'm assuming we have another baby wipe type thing going on.
Yeah, they should have virtual baby wipes. In
Oh,
Fortnite.
that reminds me. I
What?
forgot to say Ashton Kutcher
Yeah.
in the thing. There was a hilarious thing in that article where it said, Ashton Kutcher, this is a quote that he said. He said, "I wash my armpits and my crotch and nothing else ever."
Well, if we're gonna wrap around back to that, I guess it makes sense that this would come from like celebrities, because think about it. Most of the time, they're probably getting driven around places, and then going into climate controlled buildings, and I don't mean to like shit on them, but they're probably not doing much like physical work outside of if they're doing a scene that's like actually physical. You know, their day-to-day life, they're probably just walking around and not doing anything else.
But
I mean, most people, you know, they have a lot more physical jobs, so it would make sense that we're like, yeah, shower. But a rich person who's going from like a 50-degree room to 50-degree room with their room temperature,
water.
you know, Fiji, and they're just like, oh, today's been so stressful, you know, and they have their servants that are like fanning them and stuff. It makes sense that they'd be like, is showering really a big deal? Because I'm pretty sure Ashton Kutcher doesn't shower his kids either. Like the kids don't bathe,
right.
so they're just a whole family of.
What does their house smell like? The carpet.
Maybe they have that. What do you call it? Anosmia or whatever. The no smelling disease. Sickness.
I don't know.
Something like that. I don't know. I don't really want to think about people showering or not showering anymore.
Yeah, I'm over it.
I'm over it. Life moves fast. Don't have time to shower.
Yeah, we don't. No time to shower. Okay. Intro over.
Yeah, let's move on to our weeks, please. How many showers did you take this week?
I don't know. Maybe like one.
Good. What else?
I watched a few things. I actually have a pretty fun week, I think. I guess I'll do that one at the end. I watched an anime.
Okay.
Well,
surprising.
Kind of half of an anime. It's called Tokyo Revengers, and it's like still currently coming out, and it's like pretty popular, and everyone seems to really like it. So I was like, you know what, whatever, I'll watch it. People said it was like Erased. I talked about Erased before on the show like a long time ago.
Yeah, not too much though, because I still wanted to see it.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like Erased, in which our main character Takemichi, he like goes back in time. Well, he finds out that his only girlfriend from middle school died, was like killed by the one of the gang, the Tomon gang
in the
Tokyo.
like as they were adults, like his
in
old
present.
Okay.
So then he ends up time traveling back 12 years, and he's like, okay, I need to do what I can and to save the girl.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what the show's about. And I was like, okay, that's cool. It's kind of like Erased. And then I don't really like this.
I'll be real. I didn't want to say anything to rain on the parade right away, but I don't like the sound of that premise.
So, I mean, I don't really know if I explained it that well. I mean, that's what happens.
Well, to me, it just sounds like. Obviously, you just said it in like 2 sentences, but to me, it sounded like he saw it from like someone he didn't talk to since middle school.
That was the first thing I thought of.
It was like, oh, this girl that I used to know when I was a child, let's go save her.
No, literally, because the very first scene is like him sitting on the couch and he's like watching the news. He's like, and it like says like this girl died. And he's like, that name sounds familiar.
Right.
And he's like, oh my gosh, that was my girlfriend from middle school.
Yeah.
And
You know what's funny about that?
Okay.
Never mind.
Okay. We'll skip that.
We'll skip that.
Talk about this a little more.
I'll tell you after the show, though.
Okay. I don't really understand why everyone likes this show so much. I mean, it's not terrible, but
I would say
like,
that it sounds like people like it because of the premise.
I mean, I guess, but so, and then there's also this whole like gang aspect. The worst part of the show for me that I couldn't get around was almost all of the characters are supposed to be in middle school, like when they're back in time.
Yeah.
And like our main character looks like he's in middle school, I would say. But then the people in like the gangs and stuff, like they're like middle school gangs, are like 35 mature adults
Sure,
with like
but they're-
scars over their faces
Yeah.
and they're really deep voices and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna beat you up, little kid. I'm in a gang."
Sounds like part 5 of JoJo, where the main character is like 15, but he's got like the washboard abs.
Yeah, and I'm just like, none of these people are in middle school, and
Right.
they're always just like, "You stupid middle school kids," and he's like literally like this tall, and it's just like, what?
What do they call those? The like people, the bullies. There's like a name for it. There's
don't
like
know.
a Japanese name for it. I don't know.
So anyway, the one thing that I thought was cool was he finds out that like the trigger for him to time travel is like touching the girl's brother's hand.
Okay. Interesting.
Right? It's kind of weird, and that will send him either back to present or 12 years in the past
Okay.
to the day.
Is the time travel like 1-to-1? Like if he kills someone in the past, when he goes back, they'll be dead?
Yes.
Okay.
Because like he goes back and forth quite a bit throughout the 12 episodes that I watched, and like every time like something different will happen, like somebody else is dead that he didn't plan on,
Yeah.
or like whatever. But it was cool because in the beginning the brother dies in the thing too, but he saves him in the past, but the girl still dies. But the brother is like, "I know that you can time travel, so I will help you." And then he just keeps on trying to like save her, and he tries to like get into this gang to try to stop this like gang war from happening, so to save the girl. And I was like, okay, and that's like all cool and whatever, but it's just, none of the characters really grabbed me.
Yeah.
Some of them are like cool, but there's really no depth, I think, to like any of the characters at all. Just felt kind of bland. And then so I was just kind of like bored watching most of the episodes. Like I don't really care about any of these people. And I was also just confused on like the main character's motivation. Like, why do you care about this girl?
Yeah. Yeah. Right, exactly. That's the kind of thing and you know what's weird? If I could just springboard off of that
Okay.
to something totally different, I found myself falling down an internet like rabbit hole over the past 2 weeks
Okay.
that I was aware of, but like not really. I knew the name, but I really didn't know anything about it. And the name that I'm talking about, I just want to throw it out there to see if you've just caught a whiff anywhere, is Chris Chan.
No.
Okay,
don't know
well,
what this is.
Chris Chan is a person who I don't even know how to explain it.
What is going on?
But the recently, this is like content warning right now. Recently, so Chris Chan was Christopher Weston Chandler turned to Christian Weston Chandler turned to Christine Weston Chandler. So now she identifies as Christine, and she's like a 30-something-year-old autistic woman who's been like a internet phenomenon, basically. Like people have been like basically like back in the day trolling, because this has been happening since like 2000. I found out since like 2000, like trolling Chris Chan and like documenting their life basically. And it's just like this whole thing of all these things these people done. And the reason I found out about it is because I saw this article recently where apparently Chris Chan like sexually abused her 80-year-old dementia grandmother, or no, mother, just regular mother.
What does this have to do? Wait, where did you get this from?
I got this because the anime thing, well, one, they're into anime a lot. And it made me think of that a lot of the times I see with people that have these, that like these sort of things, have this weird fixation with like these feelings they experience with their children that didn't translate into their adult lives. And that's why they fixate on these like old relationships, you know? Because it's like
okay.
these things like, you know, because everyone has something in school because you're forced to be next to people forever, you know? And when you get into adult life, that's not really a thing, you know, anymore.
Yeah.
Besides work, but that can change like whenever. And so it seems like people like this who fixate on those kind of tropes, like the middle school crush and stuff like that, and a lot of things. I mean, I not to be aggressive, but you see in anime a lot. I feel, you know, focus in on these things of these childhood feelings that were like never actualized into real life. Because when you're a child, like, oh, I can't wait to get married, but then like you're 40 and not married, and then you fixate on like younger people's relationships, and you want to see young people get together because it's like the wish fulfillment, you know?
Okay.
And I just always thought it was really interesting. And this whole documentary that I saw, and there's like an even bigger one that's out there that's literally like 59 parts, and they're all like an hour long. And it's from like 2000, it's like an hour per year. It's from like 2000 to like today. And it's absolutely like mind blowing. And it's such a weird experience because a lot of the times you feel awful because you're like, wow, these people are like harassing this mentally handicapped person. But then sometimes they just do like not great things. They can be incredibly racist, and, you know, they themselves threaten to kill people and stuff like that, and like macing store employees and just like doing all this awful stuff. And it's like someone needed to intervene like a long time ago. And I've just been, because I realized this was like a whole thing that people like knew about that I was totally blind to, and I'm sure a lot of people are, but it's just been a very weird week with all that. And it's weird because I got it because I saw a Fox News thing, because there was a Fox report on it, and I was like, what is happening? And I had to look it up, and I honestly wish I didn't, because it's been so bizarre. Because I haven't even I haven't even really seen the part where they transitioned, so like I don't even know what happened there, but it's very, very interesting and like very, very sad at the same time, but sometimes you can't help but laugh. It's a very challenging watch.
Okay.
That's all I have to say.
I appreciate your talking about that.
Well, it's something I did this week, so
Yeah,
got to.
part of your week.
Well, literally, I just put it on at work. You know, I was just like listening to it, and then sometimes they would describe things that were happening on screen, and I was like, "That's not happening." And then you watch it, and like, "Oh my god, that's happening."
Okay. Anyway,
Yeah.
one thing I did like. So the show's still coming out, Tokyo Revengers. But I watched to episode 12, which is like the end of like the first arc, because usually like 24-episode animes have like 2 arcs, like the first 12 episodes and the second 12 episodes. Yeah. And I stopped after the 12 because I didn't really like it very much, and I don't think I'm going to continue. But there's one thing I did like at the end of the 12th episode. So stuff happens. He saves everybody. The girl is saved. They go back to present. And the girl is there. Everyone's cool. And they're all chilling.
World War III. She caused.
They're all chilling. They're together.
Yeah.
It's cute. The girl's like sitting in a car. And he's like walking there because he was like getting, I don't remember. He's like, whatever. He's walking to the car. And the girl's sitting in the car like waiting for him.
Yeah.
And then he's like walking in the car. And then you see these like headlights like come out of like the alleyway. And this person just smashes right into the parked car and just like smushes it on the wall. And you're like, whoa, that's crazy. She's probably dead. Obviously he freaks out. He like runs over, and the person that was driving the car was like one of his friends from childhood that was like in the gang with him. And he was like, you can't escape the Toman gang or like whatever. But he was like sad about it.
Oh, okay.
He was like, whatever.
Yeah.
And then his car blows up, and you're like, whoa. And then he goes to the girl, and the girl's like still kind of alive. And he was like, okay, I'm going to save you now. And then she's like, and then you find out that she's like basically cut in half.
Yeah.
And then her car blows up. And he's like, why did this happen? I don't know. I just thought that was kind of cool. I was like, man, maybe you can't change things.
Yeah, that's the plot to Life is Strange, sort of, kind of, because that thing's all about time travel too. But she just time travels like a minute.
Nice. That's kind of cool. That'd be sweet though if I could go like 1 minute in the future.
Well, what's crazy about that one is because that one it's time travel, but not. It's only time, not space. Which it gets funky if you really put in like the planetary aspect to that. But basically, if there's a door and you kick down the door and then you enter the room and then rewind time, it'll fix the door, but you'll be in the room, you know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's like time, but not space. So you can kind of like teleport, I guess. I don't think they really thought about it that much.
Interesting.
But that's what that reminds me of. Because that's kind of your last thing. It's like, oh, save the girl and let everything else be destroyed in the entire world, or kill the girl. Not kill, but don't save.
Anyway, Tokyo Revengers, a lot of people like it. Not me.
Doesn't sound like my thing.
I also watched 2 movies. We'll keep with the anime thing. I watched an anime movie
Okay.
called Words Bubble Up Like Soda Pop. It's, from what I know, it's like fairly new. Because I've never heard of it until like recently, and everyone was talking because it was like newish, I guess. I don't know.
Gotcha.
It's on Netflix. You can watch it on Netflix.
Is it a Netflix anime thing?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
And it's basically about this girl, Smile, who's like a influencer, like a social media influencer, but she has buck teeth and braces, and she's very insecure about that, so she wears a mask all the time to cover up her insecurities. And then we have our dude.
Don't we all? That's
Right.
what the mask is. That's what the point of the mask is.
Right. Then we have our dude. I'm blanking on the name right now for some reason.
Roger.
No.
Okay.
But he wears headphones all the time.
Neku.
And he does haikus to like, because he's not good at like communicating with people.
Okay.
And they both just like meet by chance because they're both like they're in the mall, and this kid like runs into them and they fall over and their phones get switched up. So then they're like, oh my gosh, I have the wrong phone. So they have to go back and meet each other or whatever. And they have a little connection, and they end up just kind of like becoming friends or whatever and chilling. And they end up working at like the same place in the mall, which is like this like elderly daycare.
Retirement.
It's
I
not,
get what
like,
you mean.
not like the Benjamin
Drop off
Button
your old
daycare.
people and come back in the afternoon and pick them up.
In the mall. And there's this one guy there who is, he's pretty old, and you're like, okay, this guy's dying soon.
Yeah.
And he wants to find this record. Are you going to watch this?
No.
Okay. Big spoilers. He wants to find this record, and they're like, he looks every day and he can't find it because he lost it. He doesn't know where it is. He owns this record store and they can't find it anywhere. So he looks for it all the time or whatever. And they're like, you know what? What the freak, man? So they were trying to figure out where the record is. They find out that the record that he wants is like his dead wife's record. His wife has been dead for like a long time. She died like during childbirth or whatever.
Okay.
Forever ago.
Her birth as a child, or or when she gave birth to a child.
Yes. And he wants to remember one last time before he dies or whatever. Very sweet.
Sure. Is that the spoiler?
No.
Okay.
But I'm getting to the spoils. Okay. And so they look for like basically half the movie. And then eventually you're like, OMG. And they look through the whole store and they can't find it. And you're like, what the heck, man?
Okay.
But then they find it. It was hidden. It fell in behind like the refrigerator or something. And they were like, OMG, look, we found it. And they're all really happy. And he starts to cry and he's like, this is great. We're going to listen to my dead wife's song finally. Mm-hmm. And then the girl, the influencer, Smile, is like out with it or whatever. And they're talking and she's like, do you want to go to the dance with me? Or not the dance, the festival, and watch the fireworks with me? And the dude's like, because he's actually moving on like the day of the festival, but he didn't tell her that he's like leaving.
Okay.
And so he's like, yeah, sure. And she's like, yay, I'm super happy. And then she like looks at the record and she's like, this record is kind of warped. So she tries to fix it and she breaks the record. And I was like,
Yeah.
And then obviously no one's real happy about that.
She's not smiling no more.
She feels really bad and she like keeps on apologizing to the dude all the time. But I remembered because I was freaking out because the record has this like painting on it. It has two sides, obviously. One is like his wife, and the other side is like this like picture of like the city with like fireworks and stuff during like one of the original festivals.
Yeah.
And I was like, OMG, that same like thing is in the elderly care like facility in the mall. It looks exactly the same. And I was like, and it's a clock. And I was like, that clock is another record. It has to be.
Yeah, yeah, like
So obviously, eventually it's revealed that the clock is another record. And they're like, OMG, look, we can finally listen to the song. But the kid is already gone. He already left. And she's really sad about it. But then they get a great idea because their
call on the
elderly
phone.
People are gonna perform at the festival. They do a little dance to their folk song they usually do.
Okay.
So they go to do that, and the influencer girl live streams it because she's big. She gets like hella followers.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
obviously, dude's gonna watch. Obviously, because he likes her too. And they watch. And
Does
they
he know
turn
about the
on.
teeth?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was gonna be like a final reveal, and he'd be like, "Ugh,
You're ugly. Stupid bitch.
Right.
And they play, the song turns on, they're like, the folk song, and the folk song doesn't come on. It's like the song of the wife. And they're like, this is the wrong song. But then all the people are like dancing. It's really sweet. And the kid's watching, and he's like, wow, this is really nice. You know what? I need to go tell this girl how I feel. So he jumps out of the car, and he's like, Dad, pull the car over. I got to go tell this girl how I feel.
Yeah.
And he runs or whatever, and he runs to the top of like the tower thing where they're like doing the thing. And he like grabs the microphone, and he starts talking in haikus because that's all he can do.
Right.
And it's kind of cute because he says all these like sweet haikus, but then the fireworks start going off, and everyone that's like watching just disregards him and watches the fireworks. But it's cute because, of course, Smile is there like listening to him, and he's like says all these haikus or whatever that are really sweet, and then they're happy.
That's it.
That's the end
What's
of the
the
movie.
spoiler?
I just said what happens.
I know,
in the
but
entire
when you
movie.
say there's a spoiler, like that doesn't spoil the movie for me.
She breaks the record.
I thought the spoiler was gonna be like, and then they played the record, and it was like World War II propaganda. It's for a proper Japan, and he'd be like, "This is my wife's favorite." That's what I was expecting when you said that.
Oh, okay.
Where does the bubble pop by Huna come in?
So the words bubble up like soda pop thing comes from a tweet that she made.
Okay.
It's like, on whatever social media they have. It's like a tweet that she made, and he puts that into one of his haikus. And it's a very sweet thing that he does for her. And I thought the movie was pretty good, but it has this like crazy animation style where it's like, I don't really know how to explain it, but it's like real minimalist, but the colors are like crazy. It's like they just like drew a picture, and then they took like the real vibrant colors and did like paint fill bucket on the things. Like there's not much like shading or things. It's just like really like.
Yeah, I think I can visualize what you mean.
It's really cool, I think. And that was obviously a big part of it, which that was really appealing to me. Is really nice to look at. And then, it was a very sweet story, and I thought it was nice. And people that like real chill things that make you feel good a little bit, I would say this is a good recommend. Also, I figured they could just look the song up like on YouTube or something.
Yeah.
But like maybe she was like real low profile and her song like wasn't uploaded to YouTube or something. I don't know.
Could be.
But I was like, could that happen? But then there wouldn't be a movie, right?
Yeah.
It was sweet. Anyway, I watched this movie's brand new. I watched it brand new. I watched James Gunn's The Suicide Squad.
I'm gonna watch that tonight. Well, maybe, depending on what you say about it.
I liked it.
Okay, well then I will watch it tonight.
It's way better than the first original Suicide Squad. Way better.
Is that even something that needs to be said?
No, but like, it's like way. But you can tell from like the very beginning that it's going to be way better.
Yeah.
Obviously, James Gunn, he's made a lot of movies that a lot of people like. Mm-hmm. A lot of people like this movie too, like me. It was cool. It's very stylistic. There's a lot of really cool things he does with the camera and things with just like titles on screen and stuff that I thought were really cool. And then obviously all the characters really like, there are a lot of really fun performances just from everybody. And the gore is insane and really nasty and cool. Yeah. James Gunn, he just pumps everything up to 11 in this one. And I thought it was very entertaining. I think it does lose a little bit of steam towards the end. Especially like the final confrontation. I was like, this is not as good as the previous hour and a half of the movie. No. But it wasn't completely terrible. Some of the jokes don't land, but there's so many jokes that like the movie's pretty funny, I think. But some of the jokes I was like, that's stupid. Yeah. But that happens with everything. Not everything's gonna land for everybody. But I thought John Cena was like really good in this. I don't know.
Isn't he getting his own spin-off thing? So I hope so.
Oh, I didn't know.
Pretty sure that was announced before the movie even came out.
Oh, okay. But yeah, that was cool. I thought he was really funny. Everyone's just really funny in it. I don't really know how much.
The real question I would have for this, is that as this takes place after Birds of Prey, right?
Okay, yeah.
Where's Harley at nowadays? Is her character kind of staying the same? Is she going in a good direction? Like, what are you thinking with her? Because she's one of like the tentpole characters now who's had like the most screen
Yeah.
time. You know?
Yeah.
Like
So what happened in Birds of Prey? Where was she at the end of that movie?
at the end of that, she was like, I'm gonna kill you.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I like the direction they take her in this movie.
Okay. Good.
I thought it was fun. There's one part especially that I thought was pretty cool. I was like, that's funny.
With her specifically.
Yeah. And she has the best fight scene in the movie, I think.
Good.
I don't want to spoil because I think like the stylistic choice that James Gunn goes with for like this specific scene I thought was really, really cool. And I'll just let you see it.
Sure.
But other than that, the titles specifically, he does a lot of like titles like in the scenery, which I'm kind of a sucker for that kind of stuff.
Cool.
There's a lot of that stuff, which is cool. Like there's one that I specifically remember that was, well, there was one that was like a perspective thing. So like it was, the camera was like this and you read it and you're like, that's cool. But then it moves and you could see like the whole set, like just like super far apart, but it built that little word, which I thought was cool. And then there's one where it's like fire and it says like operation whatever. And then he was like, wait, before we do that, we have to do this. And then like the fire went out and then the smoke made like another word, which I thought was kind of cool. There's a lot of cool, fun stuff like that happening kind of all the time.
Yeah.
But I thought it was pretty good.
Seems
You
like
should watch the Suicide Squad.
Seems like the kind of imagination that should be going into like comic book movies, you know?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think just from the sound of it that even if he has his own style and he maintains a similar style between his movies, they're different from the other superhero movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think it'd be okay to have multiple directors, each with their own styles, contributing to the same universe, you know?
Yeah.
Instead of trying to conform everybody into, like, the same style. So that sounds good. That sounds relieving. I'm sad that it seems like only James Gunn really gets those privileges.
Yeah.
And nobody else. But maybe he can share his secret, how he gets away with that. And we'll see some more cool stuff like that.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, it was cool. I'm excited to know what you think. And then I finally finished the 4th book in A Song of Ice and Fire, A Feast for Crows. I finally finished.
Nice.
And I wanted to say, well, number one, the books are very good.
Right.
But especially towards the end, like the latter half of this book, things start becoming like, for like probably like 75% of the characters, very different from what happens in the show.
Yeah.
Specifically, Brienne. I want to talk about this.
I like Brienne.
So, Brienne, whatever, in the show, she like is looking for Sansa like normal or whatever, and she like goes and whatever, and she like fights the Hound.
Well, she's looking for because first she's looking for Cat, right? And then
Right.
to get Sansa. Yeah, right.
And then like she finds Arya, but Arya's like, no.
Fights the Hound and the Hound loses.
Right. That never happens.
Okay.
None of that ever happens.
Yeah.
Brienne and Pod, and then this other knight dude who I cannot remember the name of. They go on like this whole
Sir
adventure.
Ilan Payne.
Not Sir Ilan Payne. He's with Jaime Lannister.
Okay.
They go on like this thing. Obviously, they're searching for Sansa the whole time or whatever, but they're like going through and finding these things. They get attacked this one night by like these dudes, and one of the dudes has like the Hound mask on. She's like, "Oh, gee, it's the Hound."
Okay.
But it's not the Hound.
Sure.
It's this other dude, and she gets like mega super fucked up.
Yeah.
I thought she died. I was like, "There's no way."
That happens in the show, right? Then they make her fight the bear and the maiden.
No, this is different.
Oh.
This is after that.
Okay.
She gets like mega fucked up. Like her ribs are broken, and the dude like bites a chunk out of her face.
Yeah,
So now
okay.
she's like super mega ugly.
Well, she was already ugly.
Yeah,
so
but now super mega ugly. Now like half her face is gone.
it might be an improvement.
It got eaten. But anyway, some other things happen, and where Brienne is left off, Brienne and Pod and the gang are left off in this book is they are literally currently, the chapter ends, they're all being hung. Like the end of the chapter is like
Hanged.
Brienne like feels the rope like
Yeah.
tie around her and they're dangling. She sees Pod like dangling, and then it just like ends.
Yes.
So Don't know what's going on with Brienne, and it's very they're
Well,
being
okay,
hung by
Well, they're being hanged. Pod is
Hanged.
being hung.
Sorry.
as we know, but
being hanged.
but the rest are being hanged.
They're being hanged by the Brotherhood without banners. So like
Oh, okay.
Thoros of
Yes.
Myr or whatever,
Yeah.
and Beric, but Beric Dondarrion's like not there. It's like Thoros.
Okay.
So that was interesting. No, the thing I really wanted to say was before that. Before they're like, yeah, hang them.
Mm-hmm.
They meet Lady Stoneheart,
Okay.
who is like a thing that obviously does not happen in the show at all. But it's Lady Catelyn is like revived by Beric Dondarrion, and she's like super messed up. She like can't really talk because her throat is like totally
Cut,
chopped
yeah.
up, but she's like alive, and she's kind of like the leader of like this like brotherhood or whatever. And she's like, yeah, just hang them.
Mm-hmm. Jeez. Okay.
So I was like, whoa. But she's cool. She only has that one scene in the book, so I'm kind of excited to see what happens in the next one if she's even in it that much, because the books are like split up weird.
Yeah.
But that was cool. That was one that was like really different. Cersei is basically the same.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a lot more like detail and like other things that go into it.
Yeah.
And then Jaime, same thing, except he has this whole relationship with like Sir Ilan Payne, where he's like trains with him.
Right,
Like,
because Sir Ilan Payne was totally like sidelined.
Yeah.
100% in the show, basically.
And it's interesting because they made Bronn like kind of like step in the show. Bronn in the book is like not a thing.
Right.
He's like mentioned in the first book like a few times, and then he's like hasn't really been in it since. So that was cool. And then obviously Dorne is like the big thing that everyone always talks about. Dorne is like not really a thing in the show.
Yeah.
They like do really stupid stuff with that, and like Jaime and Bronn do like their Dorne thing nonsense. None of that ever happens.
Right. Good.
But the Dorne storyline is really interesting. There's this new character who's just not exist. Her name is Ariane. I think that's how you would say it. Martell. And she is like locked in this tower or whatever, and she wants to talk to the Dorne dude, whatever his name is. I can't remember. The dude
like,
that
prince
gets
or whatever?
killed
Okay.
in the show. Remember, like the King of Dorne.
Yeah.
The Prince of Dorne that gets killed by Ilaria or whatever. And they have like this crazy conversation or whatever, and it was cool. And it's just like setting up a lot of things that were interesting. She tries to like sneak away with like Myrcella, but they get like captured, and then Myrcella gets like hurt.
Okay.
But Myrcella's like still chilling for now because she's like dies in the show. And then there's like a lot of more stuff with the Iron Men, the Ironborn, whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
The Theon people?
Yeah.
Yeah. Iron Isles, or I don't know.
Yeah, the Iron Island people, they have this new guy, Victarion Greyjoy, which is just the sweetest name.
Pretty cool.
And he is like total badass. And he's kind of like reminds me of like a Stannis type character. He's like real like, yeah, I'm the dude. And he's in it a little bit, and he seems to be pretty cool. So I like all these new characters that weren't in the show that I get to read about, which are cool. But overall, I thought the book, very good. Very cool. See where it goes. In the next book, which is the last one, until I'm caught up and I have to wait like everybody else, we finally get to learn what's going on with Jon and Dany and Tyrion, which were not in this book at all. So, yeah. And then we get to see a little bit forward, because apparently it's like half the book is like their stuff like during the same time as the last book, and then it all merges again
Later, yeah.
So we'll see what's going on. Hopefully some cool stuff happens.
Yeah. I hope that you don't have to wait too long. Or forever.
That's funny. That's very funny. Anyway, we
Together, sort of.
saw a movie.
In the same theater. At the same time.
The Green Knight. New movie.
The Green Knight. It's new. Came out like last week or whatever.
David Lowery
And Dev.
and Dev Patel. They made a movie.
Yep.
It's like based off a Arthurian like legend poem or something.
The Green Knight, but with an E at the end of green, I think, is the original spelling.
Interesting.
I can I just say that although it doesn't necessarily make sense in the movie version, the double entendre with the title is very amusing to me, and I think it's very funny.
Okay. I'm happy.
Yeah, so it's The Green Knight, The Tale of Sir. In this movie, it's Garwin. They say. I've heard it Garwin. People say it Gawain because that's how it looks. That's like how it's spelled. And then it's like I've also heard Gowan, like Gow instead.
Garwin sounds cool.
Garwin sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting way to say it.
I like that one.
And he is not a knight, which I don't know anything about the original poem.
Neither do I.
The only thing I do know is that he is a knight in the poem, and in this movie, he's not a knight. That's why he goes on the quest to become a knight, which is like the only difference that I know of.
Okay.
So in this one, he's just this kind of...
He's a loser.
Yeah, he's just kind of... I mean, he's not really
No, he's not.
a loser. He's just kind of not very ambitious. He just is kind of living, you know, he has like a girlfriend who's just kind of like, yeah, let's make out, but I'm not going to marry you because you're like a low-born bitch.
Filth.
And, but he's nice. Anyway, he's like, his mother and him, they're like close to the royal family, you know, kind of. I forget what their relationship is exactly. I think it's like nephew and uncle, maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
So he's like the king's nephew. The king eventually comes like, oh, like, hey, your dad isn't around. I'm going to kind of look after you. And then the Green Knight shows up and he's like, I want to play a game.
Because his mom summons him.
Because his mom summons him.
For whatever reason.
Yeah, for whatever reason. And he comes in, he's like, hey, let's play a game. Have one of your knights strike me. And in 1 year's time, I will strike him the same way he did me. And so...
Right. And they're like, okay, cool.
Yeah, and so Sir Garwin's like, okay, I'll do it. Fuck it. So he takes the king's sword and he's like, let's do it. And the Green Knight just kind of like lays down. And Garwin's like, what are you doing? I'm going to cut your head off. And he cuts his head off, which is like so stupid.
It's like, dude, just
What an idiot.
cut his arm
You
or something.
learned the rules. He's put out the rule. Just give him a little cut on the cheek. Like it's fine.
Yes. No. Chops his whole head
Chops
off.
his head off. I guess he was thinking, oh, he'll be dead, so it doesn't matter. Well, the guy picks up his head and he's like, 1 year hence.
Yeah, good stuff.
And he rides off like a headless horseman and he's laughing.
Ha 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 ha.
And so they're like, good job, Garwin. You're so famous. And everyone's like, Garwin, he's so cool. And everyone's telling his tale. It spreads far and wide how he slayed the Green Knight. He did it. And so he got the Green Knight's axe.
Yay.
Yay.
Which makes like grass.
Right. It just like grows grass beneath it. Fast time travel a year forward.
It's Christmas.
It's Christmas again. So they're like, hey, you need to go and find that Green Knight. It's kind of the deal, Garwin. He's like,
Ooh, kind of forgot about that.
okay, sure, I guess if I have to. So he gets a horse, and his mom's like, here, take this little green sash, wear it around your belt, and no harm will come to you. He's like, oh, thanks, Mom. And he leaves.
Thanks, Mom. Goes on his adventure.
He goes on his adventure. He takes the horse, and he goes out. And the first thing he comes across, he needs to go like north, I think, to the Green Chapel where the knight's waiting.
Right.
And the first person he comes across is like this brigand, basically, who's like scouring this field after a battle, like stealing shit, basically. Mm-hmm. It's like a Barry Lyndon thing.
I haven't seen
And he's like, oh yeah, go this way. That guy, it was a trap. He traps him.
I can't believe it.
They take his horse and his stuff, and then they tie him up and leave him for dead. And he's like, oh, this sucks. He cuts himself loose, and he's got nothing but a sword and his little sash. Or no. Does he take... I don't remember if he takes the sash or not. I think he does. I think he cuts it off.
I can't remember.
Anyway, so that happens. Then he goes off, and a bunch of just weird shit starts happening to him, basically.
It's very weird.
There's like magic stuff. There's giant... he goes to the zone with all the dark people, the huge giant people walking around.
Yeah.
He goes and sees this headless lady and retrieves her head for her, and he gets his axe back that way. And then he meets a friendly little fox.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes to a castle with Joel Edgerton, I think.
Yeah.
And he's there, and he's like, oh, hey, rest a while. It's cool. The chapel's like right over there. Whatever. They make out. And then
They don't make out.
They kiss. And then...
He kisses him, and he's like what are you doing?
He's like, let's be on our ways. Let's go our separate ways. And then the girl in the castle makes him come and gives him a belt.
On the belt. On the belt. And you see it.
And you see it's very sticky.
It's very important. There's big load on the belt.
Yes. And so he goes off. He finds the Green Knight. The fox is like, wait a second. Don't go. He's like, No. You go. Fox is like, okay.
He's like, yeah, I never wanted you anyway.
He meets the Green Knight. The Green Knight is like, are you ready? And he's like, sure. And he takes up his axe. He's like, wait.
Hold on.
I'm not ready. I'm leaving. Bye-bye. He runs away. He runs home. He comes back. The king dies. He rules. He's knighted. Then he takes the place of the king. And he rules for a good...
War happens.
He breaks up with his
wife. He treats her like garbage.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to like her that much. He takes the baby.
His child dies in battle.
Yeah, that too. And then it ends, and he's just sitting in his castle. The walls are like coming down, basically. Everyone's leaving, but he's staying in the chair. And he takes the belt off, and his head falls off. And then it like cuts to black or something. And then it's back. We're at the Green Knight. He's kneeling on the ground. And the axe is about to come down. He says, oh, wait.
Hold on.
He takes the sash off. And he says, now I'm ready. And the Green Knight says, it's something like, well done, Sir Knight. Now, off with your head.
And the movie ends.
And the movie ends. You don't really even need to watch it now. Kind of, it's the same experience, us haphazardly describing what happens in the film.
Yep.
I'm sure you get just as much as the symbolism and stuff from us just talking about it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The Green Knight. So we have the Green Knight and we have the Green Knight. And I think it's interesting that the Green Knight can take on the qualities of some of the other people in the... Like, there's one part where his face, like, literally almost, like, shapeshifts into, like, Joel Edgerton's at a certain point. Like, right near the end. Yeah, it's like when he's sitting on the chair.
Okay.
Anyway. So the Green Knight seems to... The points that stick out to me in the film, of course, are the parts where people talk about green stuff. You know, there is the whole conversation in the castle with Alicia Vikander's character, or other character.
Right, yeah.
And she's talking about, like, oh, the green is the grass and it'll overtake, and, like, green is also rot, and it comes into everything. And she has this whole speech, which is interesting because at that moment, from like Sir Gawain's perspective, it's treated as like almost like an antagonistic sort of message. You know, it's like, oh, you'll never succeed, but like, and I think this comes through at the end, at least it did for me, that by the end it's like, oh, that's not an antagonistic message, that's like a hopeful message, that's like a good message. It's like, don't worry, the green will take over everything. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, no matter what, the green will take over everything. It's no matter what, the green will take over everything. You know what I mean? It's kind of a weird spin on it because she delivers it so harshly, but it's really just a thing that's like, it's fine. Everything's going to be okay, basically, is how I took it at the end, especially with him removing the sash at the end and whatever. I don't want to just take it away. Do you want to... May I continue, or did you have anything you wanted to say?
You can continue.
Okay. I think it's also interesting, obviously, the direct comparisons that happen in this film with him and his mother's relationship, you know? Because throughout the film, she is, like, ever present. Throughout the movie, she can, like, not, like, possess, but, like, she just kind of, like, sees through people. And it's kind of unclear how many people she is throughout the film, because she's definitely the blinded old woman in the castle. Like, that's 100%. She might be the fox, you know? That's a little more unclear. So, like, it's unclear exactly how far she has her, like, fingers and everything. I hope she's not the girl in the castle, because that would make that scene a lot more awkward if it was. But, like, she could be. You know what I mean? That's something that you'd have to kind of interpret further, because obviously weird stuff was going on in that castle, you know?
Yeah, the weird stuff all the time.
Right. So you have it, and of course this sash being, like, wrapped around his... I guess it's a girdle. It's, like, around his stomach. I kind of took it by the end of it as almost like an umbilical cord kind of stand-in, especially because of the end of the fake out ending. He's like pulling it from his stomach and removing it. It was a very neat imagery, I thought. And it just felt like a lot, like almost like a coming of age thing, except the end of the coming of age is you die, you know?
Right.
Got an interesting take on it. There was a lot to digest in this film. Coming out of the theater, there's just so much going on in my mind that it was hard to parse a lot of it. But it's been a rewarding experience to just like sleep on it and think about it a little bit more. I really, really thoroughly enjoyed it. Especially, I would love to watch it again to see how the colors influenced throughout the film. You know, because I felt like the colors got more and more extreme as the film went on.
You can tell that there's like so much thought
Put
like,
into
detail
that
put
kind of
into
stuff.
like every little thing.
Yeah.
That is like super important. That was really cool to appreciate.
A lot of cool stuff to appreciate for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And my thing with like the ending that I took that I thought was interesting was, it's kind of an idea that I always liked, but it's like, so he leaves and he runs away or whatever, and he like does all the stuff and a lot of bad things happen. He becomes the king, but a lot of bad things happen.
Yeah.
And then he just ends up dying. I took it as more he kind of like is like, well, I could run away and I could be successful and like be the king and be a cool knight, but look at all these terrible things that will happen, all this like pain and suffering that I will cause other people.
Yeah.
And then he's like, you know what? Maybe it's better if I just die instead. Like I'm supposed to.
Right. It's kind of a similar idea. I saw it that way, and I also saw it just as like almost as like a hands up in the air. It's like either way, my head's getting cut off, so it's like might as well happen now
Just gotta
and
accept your fate.
save that a little
true.
bit, because it's like it's gonna end up the same. So why add on negative things? You know, that's just a similar way of looking at it, and yeah, it's Dev Patel himself. I was surprised how well he like pulled off this kind of like knightly, like pompous, like not like pompous, but you know, he doesn't know how to really talk to a commoner, you know, and stuff like that. It's an interesting kind of line to do. And speaking of performances, I was really surprised by how much I actually enjoyed the king and queen, the sickly king and queen, because they were such weird throughout the whole film. I had a tough time parsing what they were, like what they were supposed to be. Like, are these good people? Or are they bad people?
Well, I think actually, I'm not 100% on this, but I think actually it's King Arthur.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's his knights. So that's kind of thing. I'm like, if this is an Arthurian tale, it's probably trying to put him in like a good light. But I don't know if the movie really 100% does that.
Yeah.
Because the very first thing when he sets off on his journey, he goes through these trials, is going across a battlefield of like thousands of dead people on like, you know, the kingdom's commands and everything. It's like, okay, that's the first thing you see after being this sickly old man who obviously can't do that much fighting himself, you know, anymore, of course. But the actor plays it so like sweet. He's like a very kind seeming old man, you know? So it was kind of an interesting thing where I was unsure how to feel about those two characters. But I like the casting, I guess I would want to say, just throughout the film. I thought it was really, really good.
And I know who the actor is. He's in Mission Impossible.
I know I felt really bad because I couldn't think of it.
But I can't think of his name. Sorry, I need to find this out.
Yes, please look it up. I would like that because I want to shout out the performance. But yeah, there's definitely a lot that I want to see. I will be seeing this a second time. I don't know if I can do it soon. I might just decide to pick it up, you know, on DVD or something and check it out that way, because it's something that I would enjoy watching again for sure.
Absolutely.
And I enjoy introducing to other people as well, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, did we find out who it is?
Sean Harris.
Sean Harris.
Yeah, I knew that.
There we go. Yeah, good on them.
Good
Whoever
job,
the casting director was,
Sean
good
Harris.
job casting everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Green Knight. I would say
Louise Keeley.
nice, awesome.
Good job, Louise.
I would say check it out immediately.
It's pretty cool.
Oh, I would just say, I don't know. Again, I don't know what the expectations for this movie are, but watching the trailer, which I think I only saw after I saw the movie.
Okay.
It looks a little more action packed than it is.
Yeah, it's like a fake out trailer.
Yeah, there's not like action going on
At all,
really
ever.
ever. Maybe once, sort of.
He swings the sword one time, and that's just to cut his head off. That's it.
Yeah. So, you know.
Don't be expecting no spectacle. Well, there's spectacle, but not.
Yes, but not action,
not action
fight
spectacle.
scenes and everything.
None of that.
He swings Dev Patel swings the axe once at the air.
Yeah.
So you can look at that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Actually, can I say
Okay.
that the trailer has the fox say, like, ding ding ding. Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
You're terrible.
No,
You're terrible.
has the fox say, "Your doom is at hand," and that's when he swings, like, like it was a thing.
Yeah.
When in reality, he's like, "Hey, watch out! Your doom is at hand." It's not like a threat. It's like a no, watch out. I thought that was kind of a funny thing that they did in the trailer.
Yeah, you can do crazy things with trailers.
Yeah.
Man. You can do whatever.
Because it makes the fox look bad, but well, maybe the fox is bad. I don't know.
Could be. Another thing, one more thing I wanted to mention was just kind of like how the world is so like filled up. Does that make sense?
It feels like
I guess it's partly on like production design and like visual effects, but one thing specifically that comes to mind is when it's doing like the fake out scene of him like becoming king or whatever, doing all this stuff. There's a scene, it's probably like 10 seconds, and they're like walking through they're like sieging like a city or something, and they're just like walking to this tent, and you can kind of see well, you don't kind of see, it's like extremely extensive, like you see the whole like everything, all the tents they have of like their like base or whatever, and you see like trebuchets kind of like flying up in the background, and like the sound design is really cool for that part, I thought. And then it just like goes into the tent, and then it's just like a set of a tent.
Yeah.
And it's like that little 10-second thing probably took like, like 2 weeks. Just stuff like that. I was like,
well, it's
really
interesting
appreciated that. I thought it
because
was really cool.
really the film isn't that extensive as far as sets and like even costumes go. You know what I mean? Like the castle set and like the whole city was like, you had like the brothel, and outside of the brothel, then you had
Right.
like the king's room, then you had like one other like foyer type
round
room.
table.
You had like one other foyer type room, and that was it. But it still felt, the kingdom still felt really real, you know, and like lived in.
Yeah.
It was impressive, however they managed to accomplish that. I don't know. And just the world and just traveling, and it felt like it had just enough of the fantasy elements to like his surroundings, even when it was just like a creek.
Right.
You know, it still felt like, oh, this is a fantasy creek. Maybe it was little leaves in the air. I don't know. But yeah, plenty to like in this film. Just don't expect, like a action movie.
Yeah, that ain't what it is, man.
It's very interesting seeing this. I'm pretty sure I saw this, and then like we just saw Pig that we talked about last time.
Right, yeah.
And they're actually sort of similar.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's interesting how that works out.
But yeah, the Green Knight, good.
Green Knight's good. I also saw a new movie.
Oh, did you?
No, I actually saw an old movie.
How old?
Exactly one old.
One old?
It was called Old.
What?
M. Night Shyamalan's Old.
Shamalama ding dong.
Don't say that.
Why?
It's racist.
Oh, is it? I seriously didn't know.
What do you mean, oh, is it?
No, I'm serious.
Well, I mean, it's just, I don't know. Well, just because Shyamalan, it's not like it's a tough name to say.
Oh, I thought you meant like the word itself.
No.
I was thinking from The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Just telling you. I don't like that.
Okay.
Anyway, I saw Old. It was good. I liked it. M. Night Shyamalan, he's a funny guy.
He's really funny.
He's a really funny guy. Because his movies, and it's kind of weird, he does do the whole thing, horror and comedy. But for some reason, when people watch his movies, it seems like they don't believe him when he tries to be funny. He's like, oh, this isn't meant to be funny. This is funny because it's bad. Or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like when you think of that happening, right? People are like, oh, it's so bad that it's funny. But it's like, no, obviously some of this stuff was written to be funny. Like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of that in this movie too. Literally, there's a character who is a rapper, and his name is Midsize Sedan.
Pretty awesome.
Like, that's obvious,
Midsize Sedan,
you know what I mean?
baby.
And there's a lot of other stuff like that too. Not a lot, but there's enough of that where it's like, okay, these are obviously jokes. And he's in this movie as well. He's like a bus driver. Anyway, old is this family. It's mom and dad, Vicky Krieps from Phantom Thread,
Yes.
and 2 kids. One's like 6, one was like 11 for now.
Because they get old.
At the old beach. They go to this resort, and they're like, oh, hey, welcome to the resort. Here's all of our amenities. Oh, mom and dad, we got these specialized cocktails from your food and beverage preferences. And look, you get these towels. And oh, look, there's a candy station and all this stuff.
Nice.
And they're like, wow, this place is amazing. Can you believe I found it online? And you find out that the mom and dad are getting a divorce. No. So that's not good. This is like their last trip for their kids to make them happy or whatever. And the guy who runs the place comes over and he's like, hey, you know what? There's this beach. And we only really kind of, like, you know, talk about it to like patrons we like. You know, you got to be kind of special. And we think your family's really cool. So go to this beach. They're like, okay. Then this little kid who gets friends with their son, I don't remember any of their names now, is like, hey, don't go to the beach. He's like, hey, don't forget about it. And he writes him a secret message that he never decodes because he's at a beach. And the kid's like, oh, it's sad. And he waves and he's goodbye. They get to the beach. They're like, wow, what a beautiful beach. And then a dead body washes up on the beach. What happened to this person? And Midsize Sedan is like, oh my gosh, that was my friend that we just met, and now she's dead. I can't believe it. They're like, we got to get off this beach. And they're like, there's no reception. We can't call the guy who drove us down here. They're like, let's go back. And they try to walk through, and it's like this valley, you know, and they all pass out, and they wake up back on the beach. And they're like, well, what's happening? I don't know. And then the kids start growing up, and they're like, something's wrong with the kids. And one of the guys there is a doctor, because there's a few families there. One of the guys' doctor, he's like, I don't know what's going on with your kids. That's weird. And it takes them a while, but eventually they figure it out. Oh, they're getting older. That's what's happening on the beach. We just couldn't tell them the adults because, you know, it just takes a while to see like gray hairs and wrinkles and stuff like that. So you find out that, I'm just going all in.
Please.
You find out that like the mom, one of the things when they're getting divorced is that she also has cancer, right? So cancer on the beach, it's like super cancer. She gets a tumor and it grows to like the size of like a cantaloupe or something, or like a honeydew.
Sure.
And they're like, we got to cut it out of her. So they cut her open, but the wound just heals up really quickly. Oh. So they're like, we need to like just go for it. So they get in there and like hold the wound open, and they just pull out this like watermelon tumor and just throw it, and then she's all good. It's fine.
Wow. Good doctor.
And the thing is, well, one, because the cut, you didn't have to worry about bleeding out because it would just heal.
Right.
You know, so that wasn't a problem. And their nails and like hair wouldn't grow because like technically they said like, oh, the cells are dead, so they're not growing. So that's why everyone wasn't just like always growing their hair out the whole time. That'd be pretty funny.
That would be funny.
But a lot of mess up stuff happens. The kids who are like 6 and like 4 grow up and they're in their like 20s, but they have sex and they have a baby, and she has the baby in like 10 minutes. Oh. And then the baby dies immediately.
Wait, like incest?
No. It's a different family's
I was like, whoa.
Little kid. Because the sister's the older one.
Okay.
And so like the kids, because they're growing and their like size is changing, they need to eat because they need to like grow the mass. But the adults don't need to eat because you'd think, oh, if they're 100 years older, well, not 100, but if they're 10 years older and they didn't need to eat,
yeah.
But that's their excuse. It's like, oh, our mass isn't changing, so we don't need to eat. But that's why the kids eat. And a woman who has like this weird bone condition, like a calcium deficiency, has probably the most disturbing scene in the film, where like most of her family's dead at this point. And she's like just hiding because she's got like a hunchback now because her bones just like grow too much.
Oh.
And she gets really frail, so she falls over and her arm like breaks and folds this way and then immediately heals stuck in that position. And then she falls and it breaks and she ends up just being like all twisted and like crying just because like her bones break and heal immediately. And she's just like trying to crawl and just breaking all of her own bones and just being like,
no.
you know? Very, very disturbing scene.
Yeah.
The one thing that I would say that I don't know why I like it in just these movies, but for some reason it worked for me. The characters just explain everything like right away. So there's
Right.
no
Okay.
So like she cuts someone with a rusty knife and they like their skin turns black and they die and she's like, "You have tetanus and it infects your blood like a poison." When she does it, it's like, "Okay, I know what tetanus is." You know what I mean? Or when
Okay.
when
Yeah,
that
right.
lady's doing that, the girl's like, "Her bones are breaking and healing in the same exact position right away." It's like, I get it.
It's like, yes,
I know what's
can
happening.
see it.
But since they do it every single time for every single thing that happens,
It's okay.
it makes it like weirdly okay. The interesting thing with the kids is, yes, so they're children. So it's like, oh, you have like a 50-year-old with the mind of a 10-year-old,
Okay.
and it's like, well, not exactly. They still were like, oh yeah, I was 10, 6 hours ago, but their mind does, and they explain it, which this one I'm actually thankful for. They do explain it. They're like, oh, I feel less like compulsive. I feel like my thoughts are more organized. They have mature brains by the end of it. Their thoughts are more easily,
Yeah.
done. And I thought that was an interesting aspect because it's kind of a thing to think about. It's like, oh yeah, would you really have these old people who are just like still 6-year-old minds? And it's like, sort of, And the baby, obviously, they wouldn't have been able to feed it enough to like have it grow. But that would have been an interesting thing to see. A baby that literally turned like 40 and it was just a baby. It's like, what does that look like?
Yeah,
It would be
yeah.
horrifying.
Right.
It would probably be too horrifying for what this movie was going for. Although they do have a part where a guy just straight up gets attacked with a knife, but you have to really stab someone to kill him because the wounds just heal. So you got to like really go for it.
Really get him good.
Anyway, end of the movie. It's just the kids. Everyone else got old and died. So it's just the youngest kids, the brother and sister. They're like, we're old. It's like, yep. We should probably find a way off this beach, I guess. So you want to build a sandcastle first? She's like, yeah, let's build a sandcastle. So you have a sweet scene of just the brother and sister as like 50-year-olds just building a sandcastle, having a good time. And then he's like, oh, I just remembered that Asian kid left me a note. I should go decode it because that was a lot of fun. He decodes it,
Bro.
and it's like, they don't like the coral. And they're like, what? So there's this coral reef, and they swim out to the coral reef, and it acts as like a barrier to the old, and they can swim through and escape the beach. And they escape the beach.
Are they still 50 or do
Yeah,
they go
they're still
back
50.
to a kid?
Yeah, they're still 50.
Dang, that sucks.
But you find out that it was all a setup. The resort knew it. This is what this resort does. It's what it's for. It's done it for like months now, maybe years. And what they're doing is they're studying diseases. So the one woman had the bone problem. The one woman had the cancer, And they're seeing like, oh, we can test all these things because they age their whole lives in one day. And the stuff that they fed them at the beginning was actually medicine. So one of the women's had seizures, but when she was on the beach, she didn't have seizures for the equivalent of like 60 years. So they're like, we basically cured epilepsy,
Whoa,
And that's one of the things.
That's cool.
But they escaped the old beach, so they come in and they're like, we escaped the old beach, you're going to jail. And they all get sent to jail.
So no cure for epilepsy.
No, I guess not.
Dang.
Or maybe, I don't know. It's that's what's kind of interesting about it. It's because it's like, well, that is good work.
Yeah, but it's messed up, but
It's obviously messed up, but they did cure epilepsy in a day.
kind of cool.
That is pretty cool. It is interesting. And yeah, then they're basically like, yeah, we're 50 and we just got to live with it. We were 12, now we're
Dang.
50, and that's just our lives now.
Their
And,
life got cut in half.
yeah, exactly. And they had to just deal with the death of their parents like immediately.
Yeah.
Just watch them literally wither away. And they leave the beach and they're like, well, at least they're arrested. And that's where the movie ends. And it's like a sort of happy ending.
Nice.
You learn that the reason they get old, because obviously it's like, why do you get old when you go to the old beach, is because of some weird thing with the rocks and where it's situated on the earth and gravity and magnetism
It don't gotta be that in depth.
causes
magic.
It's something with magnetism. No, it's not magic. It's science. That's like the
No, I'm
whole
saying-
conceit is the film is that
Okay.
this is like a scientific thing. God wanted it to be this way. That's like their thing. It's like, why would he make this beach if not for this?
Okay.
So it's like all about magnets of these big rocks that are like magnetic, and it causes stuff to happen. And I like that they explained that because I thought it was interesting, and it was a good enough explanation that I was like, okay, sure, right? And the coil protected them because it had like metal in it that would act as a reverse magnet that would reverse whatever.
Okay.
Anyway, the movie ends, but here's the thing. When's the sequel? Because I have an idea.
Older.
No, I'll get to that. You have a sequel. Maybe it's a few days after the resort. Maybe it's right after. I don't know. But it's nighttime. We open on the beach, okay? And it's the old beach. Everyone knows. You see skeletons on the beach. It's old. And
Older.
you see the big rock canyon, right? And in the middle of the rock canyon, there's a copper vein in the middle of this rock canyon, and it's storming, and a bolt of lightning strikes the copper vein, right? And it reverses the polarity of the beach. So now the beach is the only place where you don't get old, and the rest of the world is the old beach because it reverses the polarity of the earth. Okay? So now all the people at the resort is like, we have to get to the beach. It's the only safe place, right? And you have the actors, the kids from the first movie, figure it out, and they're like, oh my gosh, it's happening again. We have like 4 hours to get to the beach and like save everybody and tell everybody. And so it's this whole thing. Maybe the government's in there and they like know what's going on. You know, there's some kind of third party experimenting and stuff. But they have to get everyone to the beach. Maybe Idlid, the Asian kid who saved them with the message, is there, and he gets older this time. And they have to get to the beach, but when the two original kids get to the beach, they can't go on. They've aged too much on their journey. And the final seconds is they're with the Asian kid, and they're laying there dying, and they need to figure out how to reverse the polarity and everything. They're like, we wanted to help, but we couldn't because we're too old. Cut to credits. Too old. It's the sequel.
It sounds wonderful.
That's my pitch. M. Night Shyamalan, you can go ahead and take it. That's good. I also watched In the Heights. It was fine. I don't know. It was okay.
Didn't see it. Don't really care.
I watched Some Kind of Heaven. It's about this place called The Villages in Florida where a bunch of old people have sex all the time. It was fine.
Nice.
Anyway,
Just
on
like
to the news.
The boom box. Like the boom box.
Bob Odenkirk is okay. He had a heart-related incident on the Better Call Saul set, and he, I think, was hospitalized for a little bit, but he came out and he's like, hey, it's all good. Thank you for the love. I'm okay. And that is good.
Very nice. Good job, Bob Odenkirk. We are proud of you.
Speaking of things I'm glad aren't dead, Chronicle 2 is happening.
Yo.
Apparently.
Interesting.
South Park creators signed massive new $900 million deal with Viacom CBS to make new movies for Paramount Plus.
Don't watch. Don't care.
The Mandalorian Season 3 will start shooting soon. They finished the Boba Fett show.
Oh, I can't wait. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
But I don't understand. How are they going to do this show? And how's Pedro Pascal going to do The Last of Us at the same time?
Well, this is crazy, but the Mandalorian wears a helmet all the time.
Oh my gosh.
So they could just put
It would
somebody
be
else in there.
very interesting to actually find out per episode of Season 3 of The Mandalorian.
How much is him and how much is him?
Is he even in it?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I would love to see if they figured that out. But yeah, that's happening. Not watching the Boba Fett show. But speaking of The Last of Us show, it's going to be expensive as shit. It's reportedly going to exceed $10 million per episode.
That's good. That's what we like
I think
to hear.
we said it was 10 episodes a season. So, yeah, that's going to be really expensive. That's like a lot for them to do on a new show, you know, even though it's already an established franchise.
Yeah, well established.
But it is still a lot for them to pump out. But I guess it makes you happy for the. I mean, it makes you happy, but it's good. It just
really
seems,
want this to be good.
It just seems weird. I don't think I would have made that decision if I was the person in charge of this. I'd be like, oh, maybe 10 million for like a couple, over 10 million. This could rival literally like Game of Thrones with its budget, you know?
Well, that's cool because
That is cool.
It's a really interesting world.
It is.
So they could do some really cool stuff.
Yeah, expected to be released second half of 2022.
Can't wait to see that clicker makeup.
Yeah, I would love if there was plenty of practical makeup and effects just throughout. I don't want to see big hordes of CGI things. And
Yeah,
then,
I think it wouldn't be too bad.
I mean, imagine how cool it would actually be. I can just imagine, because in the video game it's super cool, but a practical, like, the hard bits of the skull, like, actually flying off when the bullets shoot. Like, it's a very cool visual, and they could really amp it up with, like, with their millions of dollars.
Yeah, what are
double
we doing?
digits.
We better be doing some cool stuff.
Anywhere
like that.
from $10 million to $99 million per episode.
Wow. That's actually insane. That's super awesome, though. It better be good.
Cobra Kai, I don't know if you saw that. I did not.
Nope.
Star, I think it's Xolo Maridueña, I believe. Cast as Blue Beetle for HBO Max. So he is going to be playing Blue Beetle in that movie that we talked about a while ago.
Blue Beetle, was that thing that you predicted?
Yes, it is. Jaime Reyes is
Nice.
Blue Beetle's character.
Cool.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Blue Beetle.
I'm excited. He looks like he'd be a great fit for it.
It's
Yeah.
HBO. Okay, cool.
Yes, HBO Max show Blue Beetle.
And Blue Beetle is what, like a superhero?
Yeah, he's like a teenaged guy who finds like this scarab. It's almost like a backpack. Might literally be a backpack, but it's like a scarab thing. And it's almost like I could say kind of Green Lantern-esque, where it can kind of shapeshift into things. And he can fly with like wings and stuff like that. If I'm remembering it correctly. It's cool. Blue Beetle's sweet. Lord of the Rings, first look. Amazon confirms September 2022 premiere. Weekly episode releases.
Long time.
450 million production budget, making it the most expensive season of TV ever made. Oh wait, Amazon's Rings. Yeah, okay, yeah. That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
I need to rewatch like The Hobbit at least.
Because I never even watched The Hobbit.
I think I watched The Smog and that's it.
I never saw any of them because people said they weren't good.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I should watch it all again because I haven't seen.
Wasn't
Lord of
this
the Rings
like
for a
just
while.
something different?
Yeah, but I don't care. I just need to reinvest myself in the world, you know? Because, I mean, I know a lot of people who are actually, like, big into Lord of the Rings, or, like, Lord of the Rings, it's, like, this fantasy Star Wars thing instead of sci-fi. It's, like, the fantasy version for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But I've never felt that strongly about Lord of the Rings. I wonder if I just missed something when I watched it, mostly when I was younger, you know? I'd like to go back to it and see if it's really as cool as everyone says it is.
The original is.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know about The Hobbit. I can't talk about it because I haven't seen it.
Well, we just talked about the Green Knight and King Arthur. Well, Arthur.
To
end it, Pibbs Kids after season 25. The longest-running children's animated series in the history of American television.
Pretty awesome.
Is set to end with its 25th
Kind of sad.
season. Final season debuting in winter of 2022. Yes, he is an aardvark. Arthur?
Sure.
I believe. That's cool. I don't know if I ever watched Arthur. I know I watched Arthur sometimes. It was just like on, and I was like, oh, okay, Arthur.
Yeah.
But I don't think I ever watched Arthur like, oh, Arthur, gotta see it.
Yeah. I wasn't a big PBS kid either.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, Arthur, that's like one of the okay shows from that channel or whatever.
But I do remember the meme. That's the meme, right? With on the school bus with the turtle.
Oh, the school bus with the turtle.
They're like on the school bus and the turtle guy's getting like made fun of and everyone's making fun of him. Arthur's making fun of him too. And he's like, all right, that's it. And that's just like, he gets like upset, but like the meme is like, it's that scene and he's like, all right, that's it. And he like turns and he like pulls out like an AK.
Oh, I don't know that meme. The only memes I know are the fist, the Arthur fist down at the side.
Right. That's a classic.
And, I believe it was Arthur where she goes, this sign can't stop me because I can't read. She just walks in through the door and the sign says whatever, you know?
That's funny.
That's a pretty funny one, too.
I think that's from Arthur, the turtle thing.
Poor Arthur.
All right, that's it.
Scarlett Johansson, we just had an episode about her, believe it or not.
We did.
Sues Disney
I know.
over streaming release of Black Widow. Disney in Hollywood
Can you
respond.
believe it?
Johansson says she was promised an exclusive theatrical release, and by putting the movie on the streaming platform, Disney and Marvel breached her contract. Now, if that's true, if they did breach her contract, then she's in the right, you know? Let's see. CAA co-chairman showing support for Johansson following her lawsuit against Disney on Thursday. They have falsely accused Ms. Johansson of being insensitive to the global COVID pandemic in an attempt to make her appear to be someone they and I know she isn't. Wow.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, it seems cool. I mean, it's what, like a millionaire fighting a bajillionaires?
Yeah.
So
Doesn't really matter.
doesn't really matter, but I'd rather see the mouse lose. I think.
Sure.
She's not the only one. Gerard Butler sues Olympus Has Fallen producers over profits. The same story, except with Gerard Butler and Olympus Has Fallen, which I didn't know was a franchise. Were you aware?
Olympus Has Fallen, London Has Fallen, and then what's the last one called?
Angel Has
Fallen, right.
And then the new one is Night Has Fallen.
Oh, there's another one? There's going to be a fourth?
Yeah, there's going to be a new one.
I haven't seen The Angel Has Fallen yet.
I
like these movies.
Okay, good. I know I saw Olympus Has Fallen. We might have even talked about it not too long ago.
We did. We talked about it on our
Patriotic episode.
episode.
And I knew London Has Fallen, but I'd never even heard of Angel Has Fallen, even though it's pretty recent, 2019.
Yeah, buddy.
But yeah, same deal with him. He's just like, hey, you guys made more money than you said, and I need more money.
More money, more problems.
But I mean, if they want to keep making these movies, it feels like they kind of got to play ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are they going to do this series without their main character?
The leading man.
Could be. Still on that train, AMC finally, after like a decade, is paying Frank Darabont
Nice.
for The Walking Dead.
Can you freaking believe it?
A $200 million settlement in the Walking Dead profits fight. I believe there's a settlement that said, here's $200 million. You are now completely detached from The Walking Dead. No more. This is it. And then like you're cut off from like basically any of it.
So his name won't even be on the credits?
No, I'm sure the name will be on the credits, but it's like he won't get like residuals or whatever. You know, it's just like this is the money you get, and then that's it. And I believe that the actual comic writer, Robert Kirkman, is still trying to get paid for Walking Dead stuff. You know, the guy who made The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
So AMC, I believe The Walking Dead was the first show that AMC like made and distributed, like produced and distributed, you know,
Yeah.
instead of just distributing. So
Interesting.
I guess there was some learning, a little bit of a learning curve, I suppose.
Man, remember The Walking Dead?
I watched one episode in the past 2 weeks. I didn't include it in my weeks, but I did.
From the newest stuff, or
No, from where I left off.
Oh, you're still going. I still haven't not seen anything past season 7.
I think it was season 9, episode 2 was the one that I watched.
Wow, so you got a lot to go, and there's like a 12 now, no?
I don't think so.
Oh.
I think there's only 10, and then 11's like happening
Oh, okay.
or something.
Interesting.
Or maybe 12's happening, and that's what the 12 is. I don't know. But
It's like the last season, though, right?
yeah. I mean, I'm so close that it's like,
But you're also far away because they're long seasons.
They are long seasons, and also I forget a lot of the characters' names. Because a lot of the people from like way back when, it's like, of course I remember them.
Right, but the
like,
newer people.
There's the two women who I recognize physically, but I don't remember their names. But Maggie's around still, so.
Maggie's still kicking.
Well, in season 9.
Didn't she like leave the show and then come back?
Maybe. God, I left the show and came back.
Will
so.
Rick come back? Who knows?
Who knows?
I don't know.
Rick's supposed to get a spin-off movie, I thought.
That's what they say.
In Army of the Dead 2.
Army of the Dead 2.
He could show up.
Interesting.
Let's get to our spotlight. Talk about some summer movies. Some movies that just feel like summer.
They feel like summer.
Just the broadest generalization of summer, whatever you feel like that
They
means.
feel like summer.
Why don't you just kick us off with something summery, light?
With the OG summer movie, Jaws.
That is pretty OG summery.
It's the OG. It created the summer blockbuster. It takes place during the summer. There's a beach. There's a shark.
Yeah, there's a ocean.
There's blood. Death.
Is that summer related, really?
I mean, I don't know if it's like related to summer, but like that definitely happens in summer.
Right. It's not exclusive to like a different season, so that's true.
Right. But death on the beach. That is probably summer
My favorite
specific. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say about Jaws that hasn't been said.
What's said about Jaws? Okay, I like the part where Jaws ate a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I doubt anyone's ever said that about the movie Jaws. You asked?
Oh, okay. All right. You know what? You're probably right.
I don't think anyone's ever said that.
Jaws, obviously classic movie, one of the greatest soundtracks ever.
Oh yeah.
One of the greatest, I think, the single greatest explosion ever
Ever.
in the history of cinema. And I've seen a lot. I've seen the bridge on the River Kwai. That's a good explosion. But when he blows the shark up, it is freaking epic.
You just brought that up. I'm pretty sure I came over to your house once, and when I walked through the door, you were just at that part of the bridge on the River Kwai,
yeah.
and I was like, "Oh, great! I don't have to watch the movie now." Because I just walked in and I was like, "Oh, that's the explosion.
The bridge is about to blow up.
Cool." And then I was like,
What have I done?
I never need to watch the movie now.
It's good stuff.
But yes, the Jaws one is excellent.
Gotcha, you son of a bitch.
I will never forget
Snipe
that
someone.
Jaws ruined my first trip to Myrtle Beach when I was like 8. Because,
Why?
Well, because we were going to the beach and, my family was like, oh, let's watch a movie.
Oh,
And
and
we
you
just got here.
watched
They're like, what movie should we
Jaws.
watch? And they're like, oh, let's watch Jaws. And
didn't
I
wanna swim.
refused to get in the water.
Right. Interesting.
And I spent like the whole vacation just on the beach. I made a sandcastle or something.
We have a little Jaws right there.
We do.
On our thingy.
Little Funko
you
Pop.
can see him if you're watching on YouTube.
It's a Funko Pop that actually works because it's a shark, so the dead eyes work for it.
Yeah.
It actually looks like normal.
Right.
It's a good one.
Fun little Jaws thing. At Universal Studios in Orlando, they have a Jaws ride, and I've been on it before. It's very cool. You you're like on this boat and they take you around in the water, and then Jaws like attacks your boat.
Yeah.
And, like he gets up there. Like you could probably reach out and touch him if you wanted to. Pretty fun, and then your boat starts like sinking, and you're like,
yeah.
"This is actually kind of scary," but that's just a ride, and then everything ends up being okay, and you get away from Jaws. But that's a cool ride if you ever make your way to Universal.
Cool.
Check out the Jaws ride.
Are you familiar with like the sequels at all?
See, I don't think I've ever seen Jaws 2 or Jaws 3D. I don't think I've ever seen them.
I'm pretty sure I've seen bits and pieces, but I know for a fact I've never sat down and been like Jaws. It's a thing that's different between us is that I've never been a big shark movie guy in the first place.
As everyone knows, I'm a huge shark guy.
Right. So I that's why I asked the question, thinking that you might.
I know
have.
it's crazy that what the heck is wrong with me?
Yeah, I remember there was some Jaws movie that Michael Caine was in, where there's a funny quote from him, where apparently the movie was awful, and so people asked Michael Caine, they're like, "Why were you in this awful Jaws movie?" And he said, "Well, I've never seen the movie, but I have seen the house that was built because I was in that movie, and it's terrific."
That's awesome.
And it's a very nice quote. But yeah, I know nothing about those sequels. I don't know how crazy they get. I don't know if it's like Bride of Jaws.
That'll be my homework.
What happens? Yeah, that could be something you could look. I mean, we got to have a shark episode, right?
Oh,
Maybe we
dude,
could save it for that.
I would go crazy on a shark episode.
Yeah, and just really dive in
Aha, I see what you did there.
to sharks. Anyway, is that what you got for Jaws?
I think so.
Okay.
It's a good summer flick.
Well, that was kind of, you got a lot of water going on in Jaws and boats, so I think I'll stay on that
Stay
kind
in
of
the
line.
boat train?
Stay in that boat train. I'll talk about a movie from 2003, Pirates of the Caribbean: The Curse of the Black Pearl.
Question.
Okay.
Great movie. Specifically, do you only think that this one of the Pirates franchise is the only summer movie, or do you think they're all summer movies? This is the one that you just wanted to pick.
I think this one, I'm biased because it's probably my favorite,
Okay.
but also thinking about it, it also feels the summerist because the second one has a lot of storms going on. Sure, storms happen in summer, but this
Davy
one
Jones.
has the most like beautiful landscapes, vast ocean waters, just that kind of sun and open air feeling I felt. As opposed to the other ones that's like they're going to like the underworld and stuff like that, where it's like, this could happen in the summer,
Right.
but this is a lot more regular summer feeling to
All right.
me.
Okay.
And of course it came
I
out
like it.
in the summer, right? It was like a summer blockbuster, so I thought I
Obviously.
should include one of those in here. Gore Verbinski, and I guess that's just all that I was pointing to, was that it's just always sunny and really nice. And then also it came out in the summer. It's a big summer blockbuster. And who doesn't like Pirates of the Caribbean? Especially The Curse of the Black Pearl.
I can't think of one person I know that's like Pirates of the Caribbean stupid.
Yeah, the interesting thing with the first movie specifically, which I always felt differentiated from the rest, and not just felt, it's also kind of a fact, is that Jack Sparrow's character really was mostly lent to Johnny Depp's performance.
Oh yeah.
Because if you would have had an actor who would have played Jack Sparrow very straight and the same lines, but just delivered in a more normal, average pirate way, like if maybe how Barbossa might do it, you'd have a significantly worse movie.
Oh yeah.
The whole Jack Sparrow thing that they write into in the future movies is kind of almost lucking himself into winning.
That's got to be the greatest pirate I've ever seen.
Right. And it wasn't written that way in the first movie. It was all the performance that kind of lent that to the character.
Right.
And when they start writing that into the character, it can get a little more slapstick, I think. And I mean, it's still good, but it loses that kind of weird magic they found with the first one, where it's like almost a really happy accident between it all. And all the ships are just impressive to look at.
The ships are cool.
They're awesome.
The ships are cool. I don't know if that one's my favorite though. I don't know. I'd have to think about it. A lot of people really don't like the fourth one and the fifth one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still kind of.
I definitely wouldn't say either of those are my favorite. Though.
No, they're not my favorite.
Yeah.
But I think specifically the fourth one is like mad underrated.
Okay.
That's just.
Is that the one with Javier?
No, that's the fifth.
That's the fifth one. It's Javier Bardem.
The fourth one is the one with the Fountain of Youth.
Okay, I did watch these.
And it has Penelope Cruz in it.
Right.
And Blackbeard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're all good.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Pirates of the Caribbean actually freaking rules. Incredible soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everyone knows. Like, if I played it, you would be like, oh yeah, it's Pirates of the Caribbean.
Right.
Obviously, I know that.
I hear that in other songs where I was like, are they playing the Pirates of the Caribbean song?
Literally. No,
There's like,
literally.
no, wait, no. It just sounds the first few chords or something. Yeah,
That's awesome.
It infects you. But yeah, that's it.
Fantastic. All right, let's move on. The next movie. This movie takes place in the summer. It's The Sandlot.
Oh, yeah. This is a good one. Yeah.
The Sandlot. It's a movie about baseball. You're killing me, Smalls.
It's pastime.
It's America's pastime. There's a dog. What is more summer than a dog in baseball?
Is there a hot dog?
I mean, there's probably a hot
There's
dog
probably a hot dog
in
somewhere.
the Sandlot somewhere.
Yeah, there's got to be. Email us with the timestamp of the hot dog and Sandlot.
Yeah, I would like to know. But I mean, what is there not to love about the Sandlot? I mean, I guess if you don't like baseball, maybe the Sandlot isn't for you. But even if you don't like baseball, I feel like there's still some things to like about it.
Sure, yeah. I think, because I was thinking along this line when I was making my list, and other movies kind of in the same vein that came up in my mind were like, I don't know why I'm putting these all together. I guess it's just because it's like ensemble kids. But I thought of like The Goonies, and I thought of like Stand By Me and stuff like that. And it really just harkens back to a time, to me, which is like being summer as a kid, because obviously that's very different from being summer as an adult.
Right.
And I think movies like The Sandlot can capture that kind of feeling of the camaraderie and stuff like that, of just being a kid and being like, oh, these are my neighbors, so we have to be friends.
Yeah, right.
Stuff like that. It's a feeling that I think a lot of people can connect with.
Absolutely. And then the dog. Everyone loves the dog, and the dog is all like evil and stuff. You're like a scary dog.
Yeah.
But then the dog is all nice and happy. It just wants to play ball.
Yeah.
It wants to play summer ball with the kids. What do they call? What do they call the dog? I can't remember. I remember what they call the dog. I don't remember, but it's built up to be some sort of evil demonic dog.
Yeah,
and I mean, it's a big scary dog, but he's just nice. He just wants to play fetch.
Makes sense. It's ball. It's baseball.
It's baseball.
That's what baseball is. That's baseball.
That's what baseball is. Basically, any baseball movie could have been on this list.
Yeah, really, when you think about it.
But The Sandlot, I feel, captures summer like the bestest.
Yeah, sure.
I think.
It's mostly outdoors.
It is mostly outdoors in the Sandlot.
In the Sandlot. That's true. I got another one that's I don't think I'll just go in order here for now. Another one that's kind of interesting from 2017 for Sean Baker, The Florida Project.
I've seen this movie.
I sure hope so. because I'm pretty sure we've talked about it a little bit before.
And maybe like in one of our really early episodes.
One of our
like
really
forever
early ones.
ago.
Maybe when we were talking about Tangerine, perhaps.
Maybe.
Florida Project, little girl, they live in a hotel or a motel. They just switch rooms every few months so they can like get away with technicality.
Yeah.
And it's literally this little girl just kind of spending her time moseying around, occasionally set something on fire.
It's important that they're like behind Disney World.
Yeah, they're like right outside of the everywhere turning into Disney World. Because the Florida Project is what Disney was like called when it was being built, I believe.
Oh, okay.
And so basically you're just following this little girl. They're living in poverty, you know, just her making her own fun with the other kids that she happens to find or not. You know, the mom struggling to pay whatever. And then it kind of captured to me some of the aimlessness that can... It's another summer feeling to me as a child, you know. Mm-hmm. An aimless feeling during summer where it's like, oh, I have too much time. Yeah. Like, I actually don't know what to do with all my time anymore, especially when you put in a child in position. This specifically made me think, when I really started thinking about it, of like the first summer after I'd moved schools and everything, where I was like, I really don't know anybody here. It's the middle of summer. I haven't met anybody from school yet. That's what this reminded me of, because you just walk around and be like, oh, there's a kid.
That's a person.
So let's try to make something happen,
right.
You know? And it captures that really well. And of course, the end of this being them running away into Disney World.
Yeah.
Just seeing the two girls run around in Disney and it's all bright and happy. It's like, oh, it's a very summer feeling as well.
Absolutely. Fantastic movie. And just like the color palette.
Yeah,
brings
yeah.
out the huge summer feels. There's lots of crazy oranges and reds and yellows.
Yeah, and it's sort of almost like a, not faded look, but it's a like sun-kissed, I guess you would call it, you know, to the palette. It's really great. I super recommend the Florida Project.
Fantastic movie. Absolutely fantastic. Speaking of just absolutely fantastic movies, RV with Robin Williams.
RV, what's that stand for?
Recreational vehicle.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, buddy. If you haven't seen this movie, literally, what are you doing with your life? This movie is about Robin Williams and his family, and he wants to take his family on a gosh darn trip in an RV. They're gonna just drive their RV through the country.
Yeah,
summertime, baby, and a lot of crazy stuff happens.
Yeah, what's more summer than, you know, like a trip, like a family trip, a family vacation?
Exactly. This movie is, from what I have not seen this in a long time.
Okay.
But from what my young mind remembers,
it was the best movie ever
absolutely hilarious.
Wonder how it is on a rewatch.
I remember there's like this other family that also has an RV who were like really like weird. Mm-hmm. They were like really annoying, but they end up becoming like good friends and they like save him in the end.
Oh,
from what I remember.
Nice.
And then he gets like, he's trying to like get the sewage thing out, but it like breaks and he gets like covered in all the poop. Mm-hmm. Funny.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Like Joe Dirt.
And then he gets I think it's like the poster. He goes to like the top. He like drives the RV to the top of a mountain, and he's like teetering on the top. Mm-hmm. And then he like tips and he like drives down the whole mountain of RV. I mean, what other kind of dad's gonna be doing that?
That's just like Williams, you know what's that one movie? Oh my gosh, what's the movie? It's the old movie, and she's trying to make the bolognese, and the vehicle's going, and she's like, the bolognese.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Someone will know what I'm talking about.
Somebody.
I'll put it, maybe if I find out, I'll put it in the description.
Put it in the description. Yeah. And then a great thing, young star found in this movie. Josh Hutcherson is in this movie, plays one of the kids. It had to been an early role for him.
Probably.
Got him the role of...
Any earlier, he would have been not born.
Right. So he's just a little baby in this one. Not a baby, but a little kid.
Yeah.
Probably around the same time like Firehouse Dog came out.
Zathura.
In Zathura. Yeah, sure. Honestly, probably right around that time. Yeah. Kind of, maybe he peaked early.
Maybe. What has he done lately?
Because then he did like Hunger Games, and now he's like not in exist. He doesn't exist.
Yeah. I like him all right. I hope he does more.
But yeah, I think he's cool too, but I'm just saying, like, maybe he did peak early. RV was the peak.
Right, RV being career. The peak. That makes sense. That does make sense. I would just have to say, you should watch the movie because it's RV, not aren't V.
Exactly.
You know, like I said the thing with the Green Knight title was good, but the RV title is probably even better.
RV.
RV.
Exactly. Sense of familia. It's a very beautiful flick. 10 out of 10.
Love it. I watched a little movie. I wasn't sure about it if I put it on the list at first. Then I looked at the title and I was like, you know what? I Know What You Did Last Summer from 1997.
Oh my gosh, it's got it in the name.
It says it in the name, so that it almost feels like cheating because it's like,
Kinda is
oh
cheating, though, I'm
yeah.
not gonna lie.
Here's the
Kinda
thing.
cheater.
This is like a slasher flick.
Oh,
as you'd
okay.
call it, you know. I Know What You Did Last Summer. You got this group of teens. One of them is Freddy from Scooby Doo,
Oh, nice.
and other one's Buffy, and then the guy from Big Bang Theory is there, and
Which one?
the main one.
Sheldon?
No, the main guy, like the main one.
Sheldon is the
No, Sheldon's the goofy side one who got his own spin-off show. The main guy who's like kind of the most normal.
I know who
nerd.
you're talking about. I
Yeah.
don't know his name.
Him. He's in it and he's there. He gets killed bad.
Nice.
Anyway, these four kids, they're partying. They're like, oh, this is great. They run
Party.
over a dude. And they're like, holy shit, we just ran over a dude. And they're like, what do? We call the cops. No, we can't call the cops. We'll go to prison. I'm rich and I can't face consequences.
Right.
And so they're like, okay, well, let's just clean up the car and whatever. They're like, okay, well, what do? It's like, well, we'll just dump the body in the ocean and we'll just drive off and we'll never talk about it ever again. They're like, okay. So they go to dump the body in the ocean and the guy like wakes up and they're like, oh. And so one guy just pushes him into the ocean and they're like, what did you do?
Yeah, what? Everything would have been okay.
And he's like, well, this isn't great. Well, he's definitely dead now. They're like, okay, let's leave. Then 1 year later, it's like July 3rd because the killings take place on 4th of July. And they get a letter and it says, I know what you did last summer.
Dun dun dun.
And so basically they get stalked and he starts picking them off one by one.
Who, the guy they dumped in the ocean?
I don't know. Someone who knows what they did last summer. Then you find out it's the guy that they dumped off into the ocean.
No. Couldn't be.
But there is a thing where they like you think it's Freddy at first, but then it's like, oh, it's not Freddy. He was just hiding information for a really dumb reason. But really, it's like a small like fishing village. That makes it sound really small, but it's like a fishing town in like South Carolina or North Carolina maybe.
Okay. Nice.
And it really captures because there's like a 4th of July parade. I felt that actually captured like small town summer walking down. You see people like washing their cars and like stuff like that.
Yeah.
It captures that kind of feeling. It's like, oh yeah, this is summer. People are just kind of happy and just, oh, the parade's tomorrow. You getting ready for the parade? Oh, I bought my America shirt, or whatever.
Yeah.
Captures that feeling with the backdrop being of these four teens. Like we can't tell anybody that someone's gonna murder all of us because then they'll know that we murdered somebody.
Right.
Because the whole time they don't think it's the guy that they killed because obviously it's like, oh well, we killed him. We drowned him, and we were sitting there. And he didn't come up, so he must be dead.
Grounded him.
No, I don't know how he lived, but he just has that strong will. You find out that it was like some girl who died before the movie started, her like father or something like that. So that's where his like rage came from, because he hated like partiers because his daughter died in like a drunk driving accident or something.
Okay. Fair.
So that's like his motivation, and the movie ends with the main girl and guy couple up, and she's like at a new school in like New York or whatever, and it's July 4th the next year, and she gets a message.
I know what you did last summer.
No, she gets a message that says, "Come to the pool party on the Saturday."
Oh.
She's like, "Oh." Then she turns around in the mirror. It says, "I still know." And then he pops out of the shower and he attacks her, and the movie ends.
Ooh.
It's like a jump scare. It goes, ah.
Nice.
And then I think the next movie is called I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. And then the one after that is, no, really, I still know what you did last summer.
But at that point, it would be like last summer.
Well, maybe. I don't know if they're all the same event or not.
Oh.
And then the movie after that is I'll always know what you did last summer,
Interesting.
I think. And then after that, it's like, guys, for real, listen to me. There's no way I can part with the information about what you have done the summer previous to this one.
Yeah.
And I've never seen any of those. Not sure if I care to. I won't be real. This movie's I mean, like I said, I feel like it does capture the fun summer like parade happy times.
Yeah.
Because it's all 4th of July celebrations. You know,
Yeah.
it's like patriotic too.
Absolutely.
But then you see the guy like stab someone through the jaw with like a ice pick thing, and that's great. Love
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. Fantastic.
But the movie is fine overall. I'd say like slasher wise, it's super classic, you know, for sure. But the movie overall, it's a fine slasher. It's fine.
It's fine. You know what is better than fine? I think. Midsommar.
Yeah.
It's a film.
It's also like horror esque.
It's a horror movie.
Yeah.
Different kind of horror movie.
Right.
Basically, teens. The last movie had teens in summer. This movie has teens in summer. It's summer, and what's more summer than a summer breakup? Boom, they break you up. What's more summer than your sister killing herself and murdering your family?
Not much.
You know what I'm saying?
Maybe
There ain't
a
nothing
dog?
more summer than that.
The dog might be.
So, you know, cool friend from Sweden
Yeah.
is like, yo, listen, I know times are tough right now, but let's go to Sweden.
There's this cool festival party that my family only does like once every 100 years. It's no big deal, but if you want to come,
It'd be really cool, and I would really appreciate it.
I definitely wouldn't set your friends on fire and then marry you.
And they're like, okay, cool. They go there. They do some drugs.
They do some drugs, and they're like, why is it daytime? And they're like, it's summer. It's always daytime. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And they trip out a little bit. They see this cool little ritual type thing where the old people jump off a cliff and smash their faces on
But
the
it's
rock.
cool because they've like,
They're old. They're cool with it.
they're too old to like really support anybody anymore. They don't want to be burdened, so that's why they do it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they get their faces smashed with a hammer
Yes, just to make sure.
just to make sure that they're okay. They're very dead. That was cool. They're all like, yes, this is super good. And then they do this little fun game where they run around this giant
Maypole.
thingy. Yeah. And they're like, who gets to be the May Queen? It turns out, oh, it's Florence Pugh.
Florence
She's the May
Pugh.
Queen. Yay.
Ah,
She's
she-
tripping balls. She's like,
Yeah, she's like, oh,
yeah, I'm the May Queen. This is
Natasha, I
super
miss you so
cool."
much. Her
Yeah.
sister, of course, from the beginning, Natasha
Right. Yes.
Romanoff.
And she's the May Queen. Yay. And now she gets to be cool. And what?
Could you realistically link the two movies?
I mean, probably.
Okay, that's all. That's all I need to
There's
know.
probably somehow. You'd have to think about it, but I could
Good.
probably figure it out.
She was in disguise in that family.
Yeah.
she was spying.
The one dude, I can never remember this actor's name, but I always like him. The dude. He's in like The Revenant, and he's in Detroit, and he's he's in Narnia.
Yeah, the guy that people always say mean things about his appearance.
Yeah, and he's in Maze Runner.
Yes.
I think he's a great actor.
Yeah, he is good.
But anyway,
and
gets,
Bandersnatch.
Yeah,
The
he
Black
gets like
Manta.
skinned and like hung up
he's the
as like a
fool.
thing.
Yeah.
Good, cool. What's more summer than that?
What's more summer than games and skinning people alive?
What is more summer than weird sex thing?
Yes. It was funny. That was during the weird sex thing that you're mentioning, because we didn't see it together, did we?
I can't remember.
I don't
if we
believe we
did or
did.
not.
But well, I'll tell you the story and maybe you'll remember. Because in my theater, when the weird sex scene happened, the tension was so high or whatever,
Right.
that the whole theater just erupted into laughter.
Right,
Because it was
yes.
just so ridiculous. We were just like, what's going on anymore? And it was actually
Same
a really
thing.
nice like tension reliever.
Yeah,
to, like,
especially
be
because
able
the
to
one
watch
lady
that.
like takes her
pushes
hands
on
and,
his
like, and,
ass
like,
to like make him go
Yeah.
harder. That's the part where we can't take it anymore.
Yeah, you're like, okay, listen, yeah, this is weird, but like, come on.
yeah, and
What's
then
more summer than that?
then she becomes the May Queen and she gets all the flowers and she burns her ex to the ground.
he gets put in a bear,
in a bonfire.
and they
Bear
get
and
lit up,
fire.
and a couple people are like, yes, let's go get burned, and then
Yeah.
they're like, maybe this isn't so great getting burned.
Yeah.
Kind of hurts a little bit.
A little bit. Then Ruben's there and he's like, you guys are weird.
Yeah. And then she's like, yay, I'm the May Queen. What's more summer than becoming the May Queen?
Midsummer even.
Mm.
Even though that's the thing, midsummer, if I remember it was weird because I'm pretty sure the movie took place mostly before the summer. Like, I'm pretty sure the last day with the fire and everything was supposed to be like the first day of summer. So I don't know why it was called Midsummer.
Well, that's the name of
Of
like,
the festival, right? Because it's not literally midsummer. It's just the Swedish word is like midsummer.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I do remember I was like, because it was supposed to be like the first day of summer was like the last day, and that's where like, oh, that's the end. But it really was just a new beginning. It was a rebirth through flame, if you would say. Things I would say about this film is that visually the effects of like the hallucinogens or whatever really lent to the creepiness.
Yeah. It's
And-
very, like all the time it's happening.
And not saying I've ever done hallucinogenic drugs,
Never.
but if I had, I would say that it seemed like it wasn't like a super wacky, like, oh, look, whatever. It was a more seemingly honest interpretation of it. They weren't seeing like crazy figures and whatever. It was just like, oh, look, those trees are like bending a little. What's up with that? Or like there's like a face in the forest. It's like, what's happening over there, you know? So it lent it because at times you're like, okay, is this just like a high thing or is this something weirder going on?
I remember very specifically one that creeped me out like the whole time was when she's the May Queen. She gets like the flower crown. One of the flowers is like breathing for like the rest of the movie, and I was like, that's just really weird and creepy.
Yeah, the breathing thing is like, that's like a real thing.
Yeah.
Everything just breathes, and then, I liked how they put it to effect through the film, and I wonder how much work that must have been.
Oh,
You know?
probably super like annoying, like just being like these little tiny things that most people, like I'm sure me doesn't even notice.
Right, exactly. But yeah, Midsummer. Florence Pugh, she's got a
Cool.
great frown.
Cool little family movie.
It's a family vacation movie.
Take the kids.
It's just the family you choose. You know? All right. I actually want to talk about the bottom of my list one. I want to talk about... I kind of have two weird choices for my final two.
Okay.
2018, Alfonso Cuarón, of course. Roma.
I barely know
That's good. I like that one. Roma is a summer movie from like the kids' perspective,
Okay.
you know? Because, it's another one where they take a vacation, right? That's a big part. There's a parade in it.
Yep.
There's a lot of summer stuff going on in there. The students are out in the streets and they're, maybe not doing normal summer stuff, all the students in the street with guns, but they're doing fun.
They have a family get together.
They have family get together. They have a talk at a restaurant.
Go to the beach.
They go to the beach. And they get a little bit older. They get like, 20 minutes older.
Yeah. Right.
I guess any beach is a beach that makes you old.
Whoa. Hold on. My mind.
The real question is, would you follow Ariana Grande through a maze to the old beach?
Interesting. That's an interesting thought. I'd have to think on that for a little bit.
On that one. But yes, Roma. Maybe it's because it's set in like Mexico that it just made me think of summer more, because I would think of Mexico personally as a vacation spot more than anything else.
Right.
Because I don't see when else I would really get the opportunity to go there. So that probably helps, just seeing the places and be like, oh, I would take a picture of that. That's probably something that went into my decision, because obviously, like the main character, this is where she lives and works. But the whole movie, I always felt what's the word I'm looking for? The difference between her and the family, that juxtaposition of how they're going through things, especially towards the end of the film, where it feels like they grew closer, but you still see the distance, despite that, the honesty that's between them. You can still, like, the scene right after one of the most genuine scenes where, like, there's only a couple seats, so the maid has to stand and whatever, stuff like that. I don't know. It's just, there's a lot of little things in this movie that I liked. I mean, I could talk about Roma forever, about all the details that are like, wow, somebody thought about this, and they shoot guns at the big one with the fire, with the fire outside.
And there's dogs.
There are dogs. Almost like this on the movie.
It
And
is
there's a birth that doesn't go well.
Not really.
That's a summer thing.
I guess.
I mean, it happens. It's like the murder. It happens in summer,
That's true.
so it
There's
counts.
planes. There's like aerobics.
Yeah, it ends with the shanty, shanty, shanty.
Mm-hmm.
Summer starts
Honestly,
with an
there's
S.
a lot of summer.
There is a lot of summer in this. I don't know. It's just something about it. I mean, I'm pretty sure it takes place in summer.
It's got to.
And it's one that just came to my mind that I thought was interesting because I felt that it still accomplished the feeling of summer while being in black and white. It doesn't rely on any colors or anything, but you can still really kind of feel it and still kind of feel the heat when they're like, getting drinks or whatever. You still kind of feel the vibe and everything and just the motion of the city. Yeah, that's what I would say about Roma.
Absolutely. Roma, fantastic movie. I'm on my last one here.
Okay.
I saved the best for last, in my opinion. This movie is true summer movie. This movie is called Kings of Summer. If you have not seen this movie, have you seen this movie?
I think so, yeah. It's got
You're-
summer in the title.
You're super missing out. Basically, kids, high school kids, it's summertime. They're like, you know what?
Yeah, I've seen this.
I'm tired of living at home.
Yeah.
Let's go live on our own in the woods. Be the kings of summer.
For some reason, I mistakenly thought of 500 Days of Summer when you said the title.
Okay. So they go and they live in the woods for a little bit, and they build their little empire out there, and they have a lot of fun. And things go fun, and then they go not fun for a little bit, and they're like, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't do this. And then they become the losers of summer.
And not in a it way, in a regular way.
Yeah. Is it a summer movie?
It, I guess, would be no, they're in school, aren't they? I don't remember.
No, I think it's fall.
Fall, probably.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. Kings of Summer is literally one of the funniest movies ever created. I will stand by this. I have people that will back me up on this too. If anyone wants to fight about this. There's a character in this movie. Name is Biagio. The actor, I can't remember his name. I think his name's Moses. Moses something. He's the dude from Hannah Montana, and he's in Manos. He's in this movie, and he plays Biagio. Probably the single funniest person on the entire planet.
Funniest character in cinema.
Funniest character ever in cinema.
Yeah.
Every single scene he's in is absolutely, I'm crying.
Yeah, he plays like the weirdo kid.
But it's like way better than anything you've ever
Yeah,
seen.
yeah.
Not like Fregley from Diary of a Wimpy Kid. You know what I
not
mean?
like Fregley.
Not like that. Like way cooler.
Yeah.
Seek this movie out.
Is it available somewhere?
I don't know. Probably. Just look it up. The internet.
I meant like
is
streaming.
there.
Like if it was on one of the major platforms.
I think it might be on like Amazon, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. And if not, you just rent it for like
You can
$3.
definitely rent it, sure.
Like, come on, dude, just do it. Yeah. I don't want to say any of the jokes because I want people to see it.
Movie. Yeah. So what specifically about it screams summer besides the title?
Well, number one, they're like, you know what? It's summer. What are we doing? We need to go do something with our lives. And so they go into the woods. The woods is pretty summer. They're camping.
Right. So
They
does
build
it
their
does
own
it
little thing.
remind you of things that you did in the summer when you were younger?
I did not do
did
this
not do anything
when I
like
was a
that.
kid.
But like, is it something that
But it gives the summer feeling of like kind of like freedom
freedom? There, perfect.
and, just like having fun with your friends. And, because they have a lot of fun and just like doing crazy stuff and getting bit by snakes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like playing weird songs on the pipe in the middle of the woods. Stuff like that. Just, guys being dudes.
Yeah, guys being dudes. Alrighty then. I got one last one too, and it's another interesting choice, I think. It's a movie that actually takes place kind of like right now, but like, 50 years ago or whatever. Or in 2 days if it's the finale, I believe. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, 2019.
OMG.
Directed by, I don't know who it was directed by, but it was pretty good.
Probably a loser, some loser.
Probably.
His name is Quentin or something.
Yeah, it's probably something stupid like Quentin Tarantino. Feet-toe. Anyway.
Feet toe.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
This is a movie.
This is a movie. It's a Once Upon a Time, so it's a fantasy film. I guess you would call it a historical fiction.
Sure.
Would be a distinct genre. It's follows fake characters in real life in a time period who like would have stopped the Sharon Tate's murder, basically. Kinda,
Rick Dalton.
Rick Dalton. And yeah, so if it takes place right now, then it's summer right now. So this movie takes place during summer. And it's another one that I would say the color palette lends a lot, especially when it gets to that ranch. You know, it's just like kind of, you really get that like scorching sun down on you, you know?
Absolutely.
And it helps with the whole building of that scene. And I guess the imagery that came to my mind to me when thinking about this film and thinking about summer was weirdly when Margot Robbie goes into the theater, just something like that, because it just reminded me of going to the theater and just feeling really refreshed from being like really hot outside.
there ain't nothing like
then
the
going
movie
inside and
theater
being like,
cold.
oh yes, it's so cold in here, you know.
Putting your feet up
Yeah, your bare feet just up on the
right
seats.
in front of the lens.
Yes. And also it made me think of the one specifically scene was when Brad Pitt was working on the roof. I was like, that's a summer thing
Oh,
to do.
yeah.
Working on the roof with your shirt off and
Thinking
doing
about the time
shingles.
you beat up Bruce Lee.
Right, that's like a summer thing.
That's a summer thing.
It'd only be more summer if you had a dog and a menstruation.
Yeah.
Well, you did have a dog.
He
Just
did have
wasn't
a
on the
dog.
roof.
Exactly.
But yeah, a lot of that in the pool, you know, chilling out in the pool, stuff like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
And of course, the whole area just exudes summer because it's always sunny and like 80 degrees there forever, you know? So just that climate alone just helps add to that. And I feel like it's a I don't know when this movie came out, if it came out during the summer, maybe
It definitely came out during the
during
summer.
the summer. Then, yeah, because it was one of the early ones, wasn't it? So perfect for that, too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that this is a movie that you could watch in winter and it warm you up a little bit and be like, oh, I can't wait.
Oh,
for
yeah.
for the July month and
absolutely.
August. Right, for sure. But I'm sure we have an honorable mention or two going on. We definitely have Do the Right Thing, which you've had a full extensive
Right,
episode
yep.
on. And that movie still, to this day, to me, is like the hottest feeling movie.
Oh, yeah. It makes you feel hot.
You watch it and you're just like, even if you watch it in an ice bath, you'd be like, I'm too hot right now. I need to chill down.
Yeah, absolutely.
He does that just from the color, and everyone's always wet. You know, I'm sure he had a spray bottle or something.
Yeah,
and was
he's
just
like,
spraying
"You're not
everybody
sweating
down."
enough.
Right, exactly. And it's just relentless throughout the whole film, and it's a really accomplishes all the tension going on in the film as well. And then there's a movie based around Heat. It's a German film featuring Martha from Dark. Marta from Dark.
what?
It's
That's
called
cool.
Hell is the German title. I think it means bright, but in English it's called Apocalypse.
Okay.
And she's like younger in this one. She's probably like 15 or something. And it's an apocalypse where the sun it's okay. Takes place, it came out in like 2011 or 2012. It takes place in the distant future of 2016. And
Wow, it's really far away.
it takes place, the sun got too hot, and it's too hot for people to survive in sunlight. If you go out in the sun for more than like, I think it's like a minute, you die because it's too hot.
Wow.
And that's what the whole film was about. It's about them just trying to survive and then like meeting unscrupulous types. We're like, we need to survive too. And it's a movie. It's a German film. It's definitely not super famous or whatever, but I enjoyed it for what it was.
That sounds cool.
Only by the concept alone, I thought it was really neat. But I thought I'd throw it in there just because the basis of it is it's hot.
Yeah, absolutely. It is hot.
It's very hot.
Super hot.
Super hot.
Super duper.
Super hot. Well, you know what time it is, huh?
I do know what time it is. It's time
It's summertime.
for the review of the week. This is the section of the podcast where we read reviews that we found on the internet that we thought were funny or stupid.
Yeah, we read reviews that we thought were funny or stupid. What do you got?
7 out of 10.
Okay.
The witchcraft belt stays on during sex.
The Green Knight.
Yes, that was an
Yes.
easy one, but I thought it was very funny.
It is very funny. Maybe the White Knight. Or the off yellow Knight.
Okay. Hit me with your best shot.
1/2 star.
Okay.
Quite frankly, this doesn't even deserve a 1/2 star, but I did it as a goodwill gesture.
Wow.
This movie has no plot, and the climax is these kids taking the longest route possible to Magic Kingdom, and by some chance of God herself, not getting hit by a car on I-4. Though I think I would have preferred it if they did.
Wow. That's the Florida
That's the
Project.
Florida Project.
But wow, I cannot believe that person said that. That's unbelievable.
I prefer if the kids. I mean, that would be a shocking ending to that movie.
Wow.
They cross
Yeah?
the highway and it's just done, and it's just
it's like-
the Florida Project.
Wow. Yeah, that'd be something.
That maybe the director's cut alternative ending.
That would have been a choice.
Then just ends like Zombievers, just at the end.
Yes. Zombievers, one of the all-time great endings.
And all-time great summer movies as well. You could throw that.
True,
in
yeah,
there,
Zombievers.
for sure.
Throw it out there. Big
Going to
summer
the
movie.
lake, yeah.
Absolutely. With the bros and the ladies.
What's that one Baywatch movie?
Yeah.
That would be good. That's a good summer movie. I bet.
Sure.
Never seen it.
Yeah,
so who
me
knows.
neither.
Any good animated summer movies?
Oh, that actually reminds me. Words Bubble Up Like Soda Pop is a summer movie.
Oh, okay.
It's said multiple times, like it's summertime, and they're always like, oh, it's
Oh,
so
yeah.
hot.
Lilo and Stitch count? Hawaii's
Lilo and
always
Stitch.
summer like.
Yeah, I guess could be a summer movie.
Yeah. For sure.
Absolutely. Up.
Yeah, it's a vacation movie.
Yeah.
It works, yeah. Definitely.
Wall-E.
Molly. Does space have seasons? It's just always nighttime.
That's interesting. Is it nighttime though? But the sun is always out.
It's dark,
There's millions and millions of suns
but it's still dark out.
because they're so far away.
Yeah, so I'd say it's nighttime.
But you can still see them.
You still see stars at night.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's
so nighttime.
sunny.
We got an email coming
Did
in.
you know that you could email us, the two of us, at thestaglerpod@gmail.com? That's the thing you can do.
You can actually email anybody, but you can only email us at the Stagler Pod.
That's true.
Maybe not. I guess if somebody doesn't have an email address, you cannot email them. But you could always create an email address for them,
Right.
give them the login information and password, and then tell them about it.
Yeah.
And that would count.
That's something you could do.
Hey guys, I know in a lot of vacation
Hi.
movies, there's the beginning scene of the family friends all gathering into a minivan, or onto a plane, and get sent off to their destination. They arrive, the music changes, and if it's somewhere exotic, a weird filter gets thrown on the screen. We know the usual: Paris, London, Rome, Tokyo. I was wondering, is there any places you'd like to see more of for a fun-filled escapade of a couple of trouble-making teenagers?
Yes. Specifically, the Oceania region
Okay.
of the Earth. So, like Australia and New Zealand. No one ever is like, let's go to Sydney.
Finding Nemo.
Except for Finding Nemo.
Finding Nemo is kind of a trailblazer in this respect.
But, like, New Zealand, no one ever goes to... They make a lot of movies in New Zealand,
Lord of the Rings.
but they don't go... Does Lord of the Rings take place in
They
New
go
Zealand?
to they go to Mordor's in New Zealand. I believe.
Is that what it
I
is?
think so.
And then also, like, the Philippines, Singapore.
Sure. There's a lot of places that just don't get a lot of play.
Singapore is really interesting because it's literally the smallest country ever.
Pirates of the Caribbean 3.
They go to Singapore?
I believe so.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's like the opening of the movies. It's like, oh, we arrived in Singapore. Yeah.
What? No.
Yeah, I think so. But it's like a long time ago.
No.
Okay.
That doesn't happen.
Okay.
Someone needs to fact check that. But, like, the Philippines, what is it? There's Singapore. There's Indonesia.
Yeah.
What's the one next to Indonesia?
Yeah, they go to Singapore. Remember when they have that scene and they throw the swords up through the ground and they go...
That's Singapore?
That's Singapore.
Wow, that's crazy. See,
Yeah.
That's how great Pirates of the Caribbean is. They're
Right,
going
see,
exactly where I want them to
exactly.
go.
They've already got it covered.
Basically, anywhere down there, I feel like movies just don't
Yeah.
really go very often.
I think I would like... This isn't really answering the question because you really knocked it out of the park there.
Oh, thanks.
Unless I would say, like, the South Pole.
Antarctica.
Bunch of teenagers just in the South Pole having fun.
That'd be
kind of
cool.
cool skateboarding with penguins, you know? Anyway, I think I'd like to see more movies that aren't comedies where people just take a vacation, but they just have a bad time. You know what I mean? Enough of these wacky vacations. I want to see a vacation where they're just like, it was fine. You know, I went to this famous location and it was really not as good as I thought it was. Like the episode of The Sopranos where they go to Paris.
Right.
You know, Cold Stones or whatever. Give me that, but as a movie where they're like, yeah, Paris kind of sucks. You know, like Italy, not really my thing. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I would like to want to see those. I guess that's like Lost in Translation, I suppose,
Yeah.
at that point. But it's not really the vacation in those movies.
Yeah.
It's more obligations.
I guess, I don't know. Like, does anyone ever go to South America for, like, vacation? in a movie? No. Africa.
They
Other
got
than,
they
like,
got
Egypt?
close in My Brother the Pig.
Right.
They got close.
I don't know. Like Chile would be cool. Like Bolivia.
Anybody go to Canada? Like Montreal?
Being an American, it would be interesting to see like a movie where it's like someone from like a European country or like any other country other than America, and they're like, let's go to Dayton.
Borat. Borat 2 subsequent movie film.
Where does he go?
What do you mean?
Where does he go in that movie? I don't
He
remember.
goes everywhere. I don't
Yeah,
know.
but does that count?
It's a road trip. Remember, he's got to do the road
He kind
trip.
of goes around.
Yeah, I guess it would be interesting to see. Just flip the roles. You know, someone coming to.
Yeah.
I guess there's plenty of them where they go to like New York and Los
Yeah,
Angeles.
but not one of those. Like, we're going to Maine.
Right. We need to see what Maine's all about.
And they're like, Maine is so great.
Yeah, I guess when you do stuff like that, it's never the point is vacation. It's always the point like, oh, I'm an author and I'm researching. You know, it's something like that.
Yeah.
It's never just vacation time. Maine, yay.
Someone needs to do it.
Lighthouses,
Yeah.
hooray. Yeah, that's cool. Vacation movies are an interesting subset of film, I think.
Midsummer's kind of a vacation movie.
It is, yeah. And they go to Sweden. And I guess Pirates 3 is a vacation movie.
Yeah, they're hitting up Singapore.
They end up Singapore and they're like, oh, this place is great. We can drive our boats in the water. Anyway, that does the reviews of the week. That does of the emails.
Thanks for the email.
Thank you for the email. As always, we always appreciate emails all the time. And that does it for episode 35 of The Stagler.
35 episodes. 15
35
more. And we're
episodes.
at 50.
15 more. 36, 37, 39. Yeah, 50.
Yeah. Crazy.
That is pretty crazy. That's almost when we hit 52. That'll be 2 years, no? Because we do it every other week.
We officially just passed, like, in between the last episode and this episode was like the halfway point to 69.
Okay, I thought that was going to be something a little more enlightening, but that
What
is
do you
true.
mean? That's great.
That is true. What is a halfway to 69 is just a regular blowjob. That's not a halfway to 69.
We gotta do something special for our 69 episode.
We'll have to do best Charlize Theron topless movies.
Okay.
Reindeer Games.
Cool.
Number 1.
Number 1.
It's got Ben Affleck, and he's like, I had better sex in prison.
Nice.
Yeah,
Cool.
You do that. All right, next spotlight, you guys. I say we just do it now. I say we just get it over with. I say we do shark movies.
Shark movies?
Next episode. Because it's still summer. You know what I mean?
Summer.
I think it's something that I'd like to get out of the way.
I have so many shark movies. It's crazy.
Right? So I want to pull off the Band-Aid personally, unless they're all as good as Deep Blue Sea. So that one was pretty dang good.
There's so many great ones.
But yeah, so we'll be talking about some, I don't think we're going to do like 5 and 5. We're just going to pick out a bunch and just talk about them. But we'll do that and we'll share them with you. Hopefully it'll be Shark Week, even though Shark Week already happened
Yeah, it was
a
like
while ago.
probably.
That's okay.
But we could time travel.
It's our Shark Week. Yeah, I'm going to touch Jaws' brother's fin and he's going to send me back in time to Shark Week.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to drive a bus into him.
Yep.
While I give him a half 69. Anyway, that does it for today's episode. Thank you all so very much for listening. I'm really having fun. Thanks.
Bye. See you later.
Bye.